So I got a text from Andrew today, this morning,
Yeah.
like, alerting me to the news of the day,
What
which
was that?
is that Stephen Collins is a child molester.
Who's Stephen Collins?
RevCam from Seventh Heaven.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. Like, he confessed in therapy in 2012, and his wife had it secretly recorded, and TMZ has the recording, which I will not listen to. But, yep.
That's kind of fucked up.
At least 3 victims. I know, but, like, okay, if that's the way for 3 children to get justice, then fine.
Huh. Well.
Yay!
Alright.
It's just funny because Andrew Facebook messaged me yesterday and, like, about how sad he was that Mel Gibson isn't allowed to act anymore.
Yeah.
And we had a long conversation about that, about how, like, I'm okay, like, I like Mel Gibson as an actor, but I'm also not like, oh, hey, like, I don't know, there's other people you can hire who won't ruin your project when they get drunk, you know? But...
Well, there's a giant difference between saying that something racist or sexist and, like, actually hurting somebody.
Well, that's what I was saying, is, like, the thing that bugs me about it, I'm not like, give Mel Gibson another chance. Like, I don't care if he gets another chance. Because
Right.
it's such a privilege. He can make movies for the rest of his life. And being, like, the #1 box office star in the world is quite a privileged position that, like, I think if you say anti-Semitic things and the N-word and abuse your wife on various occasions, like, well, maybe you'll never get back there and that's okay. But, like, the double standard is what bugs me. So, like, Mike Tyson is, like, everyone's, you know, comedic darling right now and is, like, being asked to dance at the Emmys or whatever the fuck that was. It's like, he went to prison. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison for rape. And was
Right.
accused by multiple women of rape and physical assault. So, you know, that I don't understand. Like, why? I seriously think, like, it would have been better for Mel Gibson to, like, rape somebody than be anti-Semitic if he wanted to, like, come back and work again.
Right.
Because I feel like rape people can always be like, well, maybe he didn't do it. You know? But when there's, like, audio recordings of you saying nigger and stuff, like, you know.
Right.
No plausible deniability.
I think it's weird that these seem to be held in similar regard. Maybe I just have a skewed perspective on things, but, like...
But they're not! One keeps you out of Hollywood for the rest of your life. The other
Right.
one...
That's true.
People will welcome you back
That's
after
true.
a couple of years.
So I guess I have, like, the opposite, you know, I would say, you know, somebody who rapes a lot of people shouldn't be in movies, maybe. But somebody who's racist, it's okay for them to be in movies. Like, if, maybe, yeah, I mean, sure, it's okay.
I agree.
So that's kind of a, I guess it's not
I'll let anyone be in movies. I don't care. As long as you, like, you know, Mike Tyson went to jail, served 3 years of a 6-year sentence.
right.
I try to be the kind of person who's like, hey, if he did his time, I'm good. But there are a lot of people who didn't do their time, but, like, you know, Roman Polanski didn't do any time, but he did his time, whatever. Fine.
Right. Well, and actually,
But...
if you know anything about, like, Mike Tyson's kind of story, and kind of what he endorses and talks about now,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty cool. Like, he's clearly not the smartest dude, but, like...
I agree. I think he's done a good job of being penitent and being, like, at least, I mean, he convincingly portrays that he's sorry for what he did and he wouldn't do it again. And if he doesn't do it again, then fine.
Right.
He went to jail for 3 years. That sounds like the worst thing. I mean, he should have been longer, but that's... Prison is so fucking scary to me that I'm like, if someone takes 1 year of your life in prison, like, you know, that's a big punishment, I think.
Yeah.
I think 3 is too short for a rape conviction, but, you know, I realize he's a celebrity. We need him. What? But, like, that's what I don't understand is, like, Mel Gibson being a race, I don't know, I guess acting is a weird thing. Somebody being a racist doesn't make them a bad actor. Like, I don't watch Signs and go, I can't get in this movie because this guy's such an asshole.
Right.
And I know some people do. Like, I understand that, like, if Mel Gibson does that right before Signs is opening, fewer people will probably see it.
Right.
So I guess, like, people have to like looking at your face when you're an actor. But, I don't know. I don't care when... I think I'm coming to the point because, like, especially with all the Woody Allen stuff and thinking about, like, man, I mean, everybody male who makes art is, like, seems to be an asshole on some level. Like, very few. Like, Jimmy Stewart might be it. Like, John Lennon's a huge fucking asshole.
Right.
And
What did John Lennon do?
John Lennon was a horrible, horrible father. Everything that I read, Lee and I were just reading a quote. It was like, he had 2 sons and he only loved one. Like, that's my biggest, there are other things that John Lennon did, but that's my biggest thing, is that the son that he didn't have with Yoko didn't exist to him.
Yeah.
And that's awful. Like, to his death, it was like, oh, when I had Sean, it just changed my life. What about the kid you had, 10 years before? It's horrible.
I don't know. I think, for me, with bringing all these different individuals up, it seems different for each. Like, my reaction is different for each person, kind of based on how they presented themselves. Let's say, like, John Lennon, he was an asshole in real life or something, but his public image, like, what we're supposed to admire about him is, like, the peace and love, like the Imagine kind of thing. So I guess to me it would be more like, oh, hey, what a hypocrite for, being like an asshole to his own children or something like this. But if it's like Mel Gibson, who was drunk, like, whether he holds these opinions when he's sober or not, like, he was drunk and also just kind of like fighting, like trying to provoke a police officer.
Yeah, but see, the thing with Mel Gibson, that's the other thing. First of all, he did it more than once. He's been anti-Semitic on tape more than once, so he hates Jews. Like, fine. He is an anti-Semite. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and feel comfortable saying that. And that doesn't make me still go, he shouldn't be an actor.
Right. Well, the thing with that, though, for me is, like, when I was watching Braveheart or Passion of the Christ, I feel like he's just totally being honest with us. But yeah, when you're watching any of his other movies, like, and enjoying them, you're not like he's not like, hi, I'm, what's the guy's name in Lethal Weapon?
Danny Glover?
No, I mean, like, what's his character's name?
Oh,
Mel Gibson.
Riggs?
Is it Riggs? Yeah.
Well, I can't remember which one of them is Riggs.
I don't either. But anyways, Riggs. So yeah, but it's not like he comes out and says, like, hi, I'm Riggs. I sure do love the Jewish people, and Judaism is the, such a swell faith or something like this. And then you find out later, like, he believes the exact opposite. I guess I don't know Mel Gibson at all. Like, so.
But you know what's interesting too about that? The Mel Gibson thing. People pretty much, as far as I can tell, people only remember the like racist shit he said, right? He also beat his wife. Nobody cares about that.
See, I didn't even know he beat his wife.
Yes. He admits on the same tape that he hit his wife twice, and then he says she deserved it, while she was holding their daughter.
Yeah. Oh, no, I do remember hearing about that. Was that a long time ago?
2010. Same time as everything else.
Okay, I think Andrew was talking about that one time. But yeah.
I'm telling you, if you need to get your aggression out, just as long as you do something to a woman, it won't keep you out of movies.
Right. Who wants to be in movies anyway?
It can't even be a teenage woman.
Right. Was his wife a teenager?
No, she was 40. But you can rape a 16-year-old and no one will care.
Oh, yeah. Because, yeah, I don't know, like, yeah. Going back just because the conversation's interesting. Like, Woody Allen, Mel Gibson, a handful of other people who are, scumbags in real life or whatever. It's like, to me, it's like if their movies are good or their books are good, like that's sort of what I like. That's what I care about. Not that I don't. Yeah, not that I don't care about anybody who's been victimized by them, but to me, that's all private life. Let the police deal with it. Let the individuals deal with it. I don't really give a shit.
Roman Polanski should have gone to jail.
Right.
Woody Allen, if he did what he did, which I genuinely don't know, although, I mean, God, his life suggests it's possible. Woody Allen, put him in jail. I will campaign with signs for police to arrest him and still watch his movies.
Right.
I think those are incompatible. Not
right.
watching Woody Allen's movies is not a punishment for child rape if he did, if that's what he did.
Right.
And like seriously, I want if the people who say like I can't even watch. Well, okay, I understand. I was trying to think. There are certain people out there whose like art I just can't consume because of stuff they've done. But I think it would always be people whose art wasn't that important to me to begin with. Like, there's nobody that's like, oh, I love Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but he masturbated in a pornography theater, so I don't like that movie anymore.
Right.
Like, I don't think there's anybody like that. Like, there's nothing I could find out that George Harrison did that would make me not listen to his music. And he was a huge philanderer his entire life.
Right.
Pretty cool guy otherwise, but...
That's probably, it probably makes the biggest impact on people who are just like kind of casually aware of this celebrity.
It's very stupid.
Yeah, it is. Anyways, boy. let's start the show here.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Kit. It's been a good talk.
Yeah. We started a half hour late, and now we're just going to talk about rape for another half hour.
Right. I think we should cut all of this, though.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what I've said here on tape, but I don't want it on the internet.
Okay.
Okay. Man, Kit, we suck at this.
I know.
Okay. So cut everything from here forward. None of what we said will be saved in any sort of recorded form. Just erase your hard drive.
She's known for writing songs that appeal to young women, but he doesn't care. He thinks she's got that something. His friend wants to understand him, what makes her so commanding. Once a week they get together and talk all about her hits. Shootin' the Swift. I'm talking about shootin' the Swift with you.
This is Shootin' the Swift Goes Hollywood. I guess should we start with like a little...
I'm keeping that for sure.
Okay. Let's see. I wrote a bit. Okay.
All right. I'm excited.
Okay, welcome everybody to Shootin' the Swift Goes Hollywood. The stars are out. Here, live from the red carpet, all the biggest names in entertainment. This is your host, Mike Keller, and this is Kit Shields.
Hello.
Hi, Kit.
Hi. Exciting night, Mike.
What's that?
Exciting night.
It is an exciting night, indeed. Who are you looking forward to seeing here on the red carpet today?
Mel Gibson and Woody Allen.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to meet both those fellows. But I mean, everybody's here. They're here. Harrison Ford is here. He's cool.
He didn't ever rape anyone.
Kit, we're leaving all that behind us. We've got the biggest names in Hollywood. James Cameron's here. Peter Jackson. And Steven Spielberg is here.
Which one? Fuck, marry, kill, Mike. Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, Peter Jackson.
Whew.
Well, obviously kill James Cameron.
Well, yeah, but he's also the most fuckable of all those guys.
I'd say then, I don't know.
Probably fuck Spielberg, kill Cameron, marry Jackson, but then I'd have to marry Jackson. Anyways, it feels rude to play this game when they're here on the red carpet with us.
Yeah. We could
Around
ask
us.
them.
We could.
What's their fuck style?
Which of you would rather be fucked by me? Which of you would rather be killed? Okay, so we're off to a terrible start. Thank you, Kit. Kit, who are you wearing today?
John Galliano.
Nice. You look lovely. Was that custom made for you, or was that?
He's an anti-Semite.
Good God, Kit. This was going to be like a super fun episode for the whole family, and now it's just dragged together. You ruined it. Man.
It's so much more fun.
Just
to
can't
upset
take
you to do a good podcast.
I can't take Kit to Hollywood. This happens every time we go to Hollywood.
Yep.
But anyways, so we got all the biggest names in entertainment here. We're here today to discuss Taylor Swift's kind of television and film output throughout her whole career. This is kind of a bonus episode. It's not really, because we're trying to get to 13. Like the 13th episode will be.
Oh, is that what we're trying to do, Mike?
1989. That's what we're trying to do. That's what I'm.
That no one told me.
You didn't know that?
No.
Wait, really?
Really?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get to 13 episodes. So the big 1989 episode will be episode 13.
I had no fucking idea.
I told one of our producers to tell you that.
Oh.
I'm surprised the message didn't get you. Melissa. She's the worst. I told you we should have fired her.
We are now.
Good. Anyways, screw Melissa. Let's start off with 2009's Hannah Montana the movie, which Taylor Swift had a cameo in. Kit, did you watch this?
Well, I've seen this movie before, and I went through, but her cameo is just the performance, right? Like, I tried to figure out if she has any lines.
I actually did not. I know you sent me links and everything, but I didn't watch this.
Oh my god. Well,
I watched everything else except the Jonas Brothers movie and the SNL episode where she was just the musical guest. I watched everything else, and I got a ton of notes on everything. But I really didn't want to click through the Hannah Montana movie and the Jonas Brothers movie. Just, I love Taylor Swift more than anything, but it just wasn't worth it to me.
I feel like you should watch the Hannah Montana movie.
The whole movie?
Yeah.
I bet I wouldn't like it very much. I have and this isn't just because of her new image, but for a long time I've had kind of like a repulsion about Miley Cyrus.
I understand.
Something
but
about.
I feel like her new image should make you like her more than Hannah Montana would.
I don't. You would think either way that I would like her more or less, but I think I don't like her.
That's fine. I'm not saying you would like this movie, but it's right. An interesting. I don't know. I'd never seen anything Hannah Montana before in my life, so when I watched this, it was like, it's a whole new thing. Who new understand? I don't know. It's weird. There's songs in it. After the Taylor Swift song, they do this song that's oh god, it's like a hoedown throwdown, I think it's called. It's like a hip hop song with line dancing moves, kind of. And the funny thing is, the songs contain the instructions for the dance move, and it's almost to me, it's almost like a Saturday Night Live sketch that there are so many instructions, there's no way you could ever learn to dance. There's so many steps that she's calling out that it's holy shit, how does anybody ever do this?
Yeah.
And it's a terrible song. But here's the thing. Oh, okay, no, we'll get to it. All right. What did you want to say about this movie, Mike?
I have nothing to say about Hannah Montana.
Oh my god. Okay, so I said...
I didn't watch it.
So she seems to just be doing crazier. Boring.
Okay. I like crazier.
I don't know. What?
So is this a concert movie, or is this a story?
No, it's a plot. It's a story.
So why is Taylor Swift in the movie, performing a song?
Oh my god. Well, what do you think? I'll give you a hint. Miley Cyrus goes back to her hometown. So why would Taylor Swift be performing?
She's at a concert?
They have to save of her grandmother's farm. Duh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're trying to save a town, basically.
Yeah, I like that kind of plot. I always like when they have to put on a show to
save. Exactly. It's
okay.
Great.
I bet I wouldn't like this movie, but I do tend to love that plot line.
And
So Taylor Swift comes in to help save Grandma's farm?
Yeah, or whatever the story is, yes.
Wow. Man, Taylor Swift is so cool.
Also, I think The Climb is a great song and an amazing performance from Miley Cyrus. Like, even when I watch her sing it in the movie, when she's not really singing, I'm like, this is like a beautiful performance. And it shows, like, she genuinely can sing and
Yeah.
has talent in that arena. And that song is a great, like, that song is, it's just so funny, like, you watch that whole shitty movie and then that performance is like on a different level from the movie you've just watched, and it's just a strange moment. Also, I swear the font of this movie is the Full House font.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of is. Nice. Good catch.
All right,
Bringing it
that's
back
all
to
I
Full
have.
House. Okay, cool. So what did you have for the Jonas Brothers movie? 3D concert experience, which I also did not watch.
I had never seen that, and I used to like the Jonas Brothers. Like, I used to watch their TV show.
Oh, I remember.
Let's see, what am I saying? Oh, my first question was, will anyone ever watch this movie again? You know what I mean? Like, am I the first person to watch this movie in 4 years?
Maybe.
Because it's not like my kids will probably watch movies that I liked when I was a kid, you know?
Right.
But something like this, why would anyone ever rent this or watch this?
Yeah.
Because they're over. I mean, the little one is on the cover of a gay mag, like, grabbing his penis in his underwear.
Yeah.
And showing his ass crack. Like, that's a nail in the coffin of the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah. That's not going to bring any new fans to the 3D concert experience,
Right.
probably. Although maybe it will.
Well, he's like literally like, please forget the 3D concert experience. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Right.
what that penis grab says.
Huh. It's funny, like, some people would do the exact opposite. They would do something, like, clean and family-friendly to try and get people to forget, like, a penis pic. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, it's just, isn't it interesting how our culture works, Kit?
Yeah. We just had a really good conversation about that.
No, we didn't. There's no record of that.
So, they did one of her songs. Like, she didn't do their song. They did Should Have Said No.
Oh, so she's not even in this?
No, she's in it.
Oh.
But they brought her out in their concert tour and theatrically released concert film and did one of her songs. Which I'm like, is that some kind of corporate synergy that I don't understand? Or just because she was dating Joe? And
Probably.
it's just strange. And I was thinking about, like, what a strain that would put on your relationship, that there's, like, I don't know, there's, like, such a business component to everything that you do together.
Yeah. Plus, you're like, what, 19 or something like that? 18?
Yeah, but like, did they shoehorn her into, like, was it a benefit for the Jonas Brothers? Was it a benefit to be able to say Taylor Swift's in this movie? Was it a benefit to her to get a spot in that movie, performing her own song?
Well,
Like,
that's how synergy works. It's good for everybody.
I know, but they're also dating, and that just seems so, you know.
Right.
It's just a weird mix of business and pleasure.
It sure is.
I still love Kevin Jonas, who's the oldest one, who just plays guitar. And I really like him.
So there's Kevin, Joe, and
Nick.
Nick Jonas. And so Nick is the one who did
Nick's the
magazine.
baby who, like, writes all the songs. Joe's the one that most people loved and was, like, the primary singer. And then Kevin's a guitar player and the funny one.
Okay.
Okay, so this movie, so I'm not watching it in 3D, obviously, but it is, you realize, like, oh, when Taylor threw her guitar away in the middle of the song, that was in 3D, and when she throws her guitar pick at the end, like, that's, like, slowed down animation all in 3D.
Uh-huh.
Like, why would this be in 3D?
I don't know. I guess
So
to make it more
crazy.
like a concert, supposedly. Or
Also,
like,
yeah, I guess. I noticed
still.
when watching these, like, and this, so I had already watched, like, SNL and stuff before this, but, like, she always throws her guitar away in the middle of the song, demonstrating that her playing is inessential to the sound, which is something I don't like. It's like, I want to believe that her playing guitar is important to the sound that's being produced.
She doesn't usually do that.
No, I swear, in at least 3 of the things we watched, she does. Like, for this episode.
Wait, she throws her guitar
to, like, a stage manager.
Right,
so that
and
she
then
can
never...
just, like, rock out and dance.
Okay.
Which means that it, like, wasn't plugged in.
Well, no, she's usually, like, during the tour and stuff, she's playing, but then she, either passes it off or whatever. I don't understand. I don't understand that criticism.
It would be, I just don't like, it would be like if Lee was playing guitar.
Right.
And then handed it to somebody off stage, and so that he could just, like, grab the mic and sing, then I'd be like, oh, his guitar wasn't really doing anything in this song. Because if it were doing something the first half of the song, you'd still need it in the second half, or it would sound weird.
Right. I think, though, people do that all the time. Doesn't it usually, it's like during a part of the song, and then they give their guitar back and start...
Not with her. It just goes away for the second half of the song. I've never seen her take it back in the same song.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
That's stupid.
All right. You really, I feel like you're digging there. But whatever.
It makes the guitar into a prop instead of an instrument.
But, like, that's pretty rare. Like, first of all, like, she doesn't do that for most of her other stuff. She's done this for, like...
Right, but I'm saying that the reason that I picked up on it this time is because in both episodes of SNL and in this Jonas Brothers movie, she gives her guitar away.
She didn't do that in either of the performances in the SNL that I watched, where she was the host and the guest, or the musical guest.
We'll just see. I made notes. Let's see. We'll see when I get there. By the time I watched the Jonas Brothers movie, it was a pattern.
Okay.
And obviously I've seen her do it in her live shows, which I understand more.
Well, yeah. Okay, whatever. Okay, so let's move on to the 2009 CSI episode, Turn, Turn, Turn. I wrote a plot summary for maybe our viewers who haven't seen this.
Good,
Did you watch this?
I watched it and I don't fucking understand what happened.
Yeah, CSI is like, I've caught bits and pieces. My parents watch it a lot. And so, like, it's been on forever. So I used to, when I was down in the kitchen, I would catch bits of it and never know what was going on. So this is my first time actually watching a full episode. And I think this is one of the worst things I've ever seen that would have aired on television. So here's the plot. This episode is about a motel that has tons of murders. The old manager used to play the classic electromagnetic ceiling tile trick on the drug dealers that frequented his establishment. Presumably, he would say, like, the cops are coming, and then they would hide their stash in the ceiling, and then he would activate an electromagnetic panel that locked the ceiling so they couldn't get back in there.
Which makes no sense.
It made no sense, but, like, I guess, like, when the cops never showed up, nobody ever went back to get their drugs or their cash or whatever, and it was like, hey, that guy, just scammed me. He, locked my stuff in the, like, so apparently it was working for him up until he was hoisted by his own petard, which is to say electromagnecuted by his own electromagnet. So he was, up there. That was like, I think even from the very first scene, which was a flashback, there were like 2 murders, 2 different storylines going on, 2 different murders. And that was one of them. Was the manager had gotten shot on accident because he climbed up into the ceiling and electrocuted himself to get some cash. Like, yeah, this is just like the most convoluted story I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if every CSI is like this, but it was weird. So I guess Haley, who is Taylor Swift plays Haley, her family owned the motel, and so now her family was in charge now that this one manager had been electrocuted. And there was some girl who Haley was really good friends with, but the girl got sick of her after Haley became too she like dyed her hair to look like her and stuff like that. And so this friend falsely accused Haley's dad of rape just to kind of get the message across that, like, you know, we're not friends anymore.
Which again, I thought all of these things would end up being connected.
Right, I did too.
And they weren't at all.
Weren't.
It was just like 6 crimes in one episode.
Right. And I think the idea was like that it's all the various stories going on at this motel linked together by Haley, but she wasn't involved in any of them.
I know, God.
Very much. Like, it was super weird. Okay, so we're now like 20 minutes into the episode. So Haley got cyberbullied, I think because she had wronged this kind of more popular girl who was also living at the motel, which I guess a lot of kids at this high school live at motels.
I know.
So
all the popular kids live at a motel.
Right. Yeah, like nobody lives in a motel. So after that all clears up, a lady dies in one of the rooms from ingesting meth, which, like, if you're not talking about a pill, that's an absurd way to get your meth fix, to drink it. But the cops are just like, oh, I guess she overdosed. Until a coffee-obsessed homeless man tells, well, I guess
he
does.
He gets his life together over the course of the episode.
Right, and when you can tell because he trims his beard down.
And puts his hair in a ponytail or whatever. Right,
yeah. Cleans up a bit. So a coffee-obsessed homeless man fails to mention a key detail in this mystery. But later he tells the cop, and actually, like, he's so coffee-obsessed that he noticed the lady going across the street to throw coffee cups away, and then followed after her, then went into the trash can and looked at the coffee cups and saw that they were laced with meth. And then he didn't tell the cop because he was like, oh, I was homeless then, you wouldn't have believed me.
Mike, can I ask you a question? How
Sure.
would you know that coffee was laced with meth?
I don't think you would
smell
have.
meth?
Well, it sounded like he mixed it in, or she mixed it in to kill the lady.
Right.
So there probably wouldn't have been a whole lot of residue in the cup, and like you could have done like a chemical test. But yeah, like, I've never put meth in water, but I think it would just dissolve. I don't think it wouldn't be like if you put like cocaine in water where there's like
but
a bunch
even if you looked in a coffee cup and saw powder or whatever.
Right. Yeah, you'd be like, it's probably
meth.
creamer. Right. You would. Yeah. I would have assumed it was like sugar or creamer. But he knew. The homeless guy knew, and because that's how CSI works. So
I
Haley's
did think that actor who played the homeless guy was like the one bright spot of the episode, though. Like, the only time I was like, "What's going on here?" You know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some life to him.
He did a fine job. He was, so it turns out that Haley's mom, or Haley's stepmom, or adopted mother, I guess, she was the actual killer of this lady who drank meth. And so later, Haley dies. She's in the parking lot. This is this is how the episode starts. Also, everything we've said is told in flashbacks. So Haley gets stabbed with scissors in the parking lot, and it turns out that Haley's adopted mother killed her because she never liked her because she was the daughter of a meth head, and the meth head had killed the lady's actual kid, and then her and her husband left, or she like abandoned Haley, and so her and her husband just raised Haley as if she was their own daughter, but the mom always resented her because Haley's mom, birth mother, had killed their son, or their actual child, like through neglect.
So
because she was high.
So was the idea like ultimately tit for tat, like you kill my kid, I'll kill your kid?
I guess so.
Even though they're both my kid?
Right.
I was shocked. I was truly floored when it was like the mother, and she had no remorse. She left her child lying in the middle of a parking lot.
Right.
With a stab wound in her chest.
Right.
Which, like, she didn't die immediately, you know.
Right, and she didn't call the police, because they said that too. Which made me think that remember in the flashback they showed that it was like an accident that she stabbed her, but I'm guessing that was like her telling of it. I'm guessing
those must have been the sharpest fucking scissors in the world.
Right.
Because basically what happened is it just like went through her like butter because she stepped forward.
Right.
It made no sense. And then, but like
the whole
mother's
episode...
reaction, like I mean, the idea that this mother, who we know nothing about, who's not shown any signs of being a horrible person, killed her daughter and didn't care.
Right.
And, you know, like, maybe if they found her there weeping over her child's body, just like, it was an accident, like, okay. But the fact that she just, like, yep, walked away.
Right. See, this is, while watching this, and this is the only, like I said, this is the only episode of CSI I've ever seen. But, like, the formula, because there were like 6 mini mysteries in this one episode, the formula seemed to be you maybe like kind of dazzle the audience with little forensic factoids, and then you have a story, and then you pretend like you're giving clues by telling them these little forensic facts as the people investigate it, but you withhold, like if it's a good mystery, you have to give the whole story up front and then beat the reader to figuring out how it happened by the conclusion. Like that's how a good mystery works. But with this, they withhold every detail that would help you figure it out until the moment of the reveal. So it was like 6 poorly told mysteries that didn't really make any sense. And the reason they didn't make sense is because they had tried to like make them some sort like compelling story. Yeah,
Mike,
I don't know.
I don't know if you've even mentioned the fact that it also takes place over 3 time periods.
Yeah, it does. Right. And yeah, there's a lot of flashbacks.
I was so confused. I was like, most of my notes are, when did Haley have that haircut? Like, I couldn't figure out the order of hair in this.
Right.
Which is essential to understanding the timeline.
I guess, yeah, I think that was mostly, the hair was mostly during it was the storyline, so that would have been kind of like the second or third story.
She had 3 hairdos.
Right. And the last one was mimicking her mother. Anyways,
yes.
We could get in we could get into this, but like it would take us longer than the actual episode to like lay out the timeline, I think. Okay, so at one point the mom's alibi was that she was at a teen party, taking pictures of the party so she could take them home and show her daughter, who wasn't at the party, how bad parties are. Which that's a terrible alibi. Then also I noted that the entire show appears to be lit with the light from one cell phone. Everything is extremely dark, even and
it's back when everything was like blue and green.
Right. Oh yeah. Let's not forget that.
Quentin Tarantino directed an episode of CSI?
Yeah, I didn't even watch it just because
that's the only one that I've seen.
Okay. Was it good or?
No, it was well, I remember it was really scary. At the time, when I watched it, that's the only thing I know the guy was, like, buried alive, and the only thing I really remember is it really was, like, scary.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't really like police procedurals. Like, I don't even like Law & Order, which I think is much better than any of the CSIs I've seen, but I don't really get into it. So, okay, another note I had, if I went to a motel and there was a vigil, I would go to a different motel. Because at one point there's so many murders at this hotel that at one point somebody sets up a vigil to somebody who died there.
See, and I thought maybe that the story of this episode would be like something about like a cycle of abuse or a cycle of poverty or a cycle of just something about like that the motel would be like, here's a place that like traps sadness.
Right.
But that wasn't the story. Or like really? How Taylor would be like a victim of like, this family tragedy. But the story makes so little sense that it can't mean that.
No, yeah, and I do think they were going for that. But yeah, I don't think they got there. And I from the beginning, I thought it was going to be that Taylor she was killing, like that she was the murderer somehow.
Oh, I didn't think that. I thought she's like the victim of all these people, which she is in a way, but not in any way that makes sense.
Right. Well, right. And the way I thought they were going to, the reason I thought that is because when he was kind of doing his investigating at first, when she was still alive, she came in and she was kind of like plucky and asking all these questions. And so I thought she was going to like, she was going to be like obsessed with forensic sciences to the point where she was trying to beat the cops, at their own game. Like, I thought it was going to be something like that. But then about halfway through the episode, I realized that it wasn't going to be that it was going to be like...
Well, and her character, they find out, like, her character has been selling drugs.
Right. She's, been slinging that.
We never see Taylor as that character displaying that progress in any way.
That was something, something throughout all of the movies and TV stuff we watched was I really got the impression that she was picking, like, they were almost shaping the character around her, and that she was probably saying, like, no, I don't want to say that kind of line. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to do drugs. I don't want to, like, remember the Keenan sketch from the SNL where they're scaring kids straight?
Yeah.
Like, we can get to that sketch later, but like he's the one screaming like all the rape jokes, and she's the one kind of like she's just kind of like there, but she's not saying anything. You know what I mean? Like it's like I think it was like she was like, I've got my image. I'm not going to do this in Valentine's Day. I'm not going to do this in CSI. But they still wanted to have Taylor Swift there because everybody wants Taylor Swift there. With CSI definitely it was like she was supposed to be like kind of gritty and like have this kind of sinister side.
You're supposed to see her decline, but people just talk about it.
Right. So that was interesting, I guess.
I have more notes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got quite a bit more.
Okay.
My only Taylor specific notes were there's lots of brunette Taylor here, which is sure to please Kit.
I guess they were like, if she doesn't have brown hair, no one will believe she's an average girl.
Right. And then also there's an alternate mix of You're Not Sorry that's played when she's smooching a fella.
Is like, honestly, like my biggest pet peeve in movies and television. I hate when actors are performing songs that play over scenes in which they play a different character.
Right.
In like Twilight, Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart fuck to Robert Pattinson's singing voice, which sounds like a white boy Nina Simone.
Huh.
That
sounds good.
Disturbing.
That sounds really good. Okay, I've got a few more notes, Kit.
All right.
My favorite quotes. There were three of them.
God, I bet I know one of them.
Do you have any idea what it's like to lose a daughter? That's every law show I've ever seen has this line, and sure enough, some lady said it when she was being interrogated by the police. Line number 2, by region, do you mean the pubic region? Which this is a guy at the police station. I think he was supposed to be kind of like a nerd with bad social skills, but maybe he's really good at investigating or something. He seemed like he was probably a recurring character because they recognized him, but I've not seen enough of the show. I've not seen enough of the show to know this. So maybe he's like their Sheldon Cooper type of character. Mm-hmm. And then my most favorite quote was Lawrence Fishburne there toward the end said, his buddy was struggling with failing to prevent this murder, and Lawrence Fishburne said, "When I really can't sleep, I like to sculpt orchids because it's the only thing that will silence the voices in my head."
I know.
And, I thought if even in
something loud.
Well, no. I just think that that's the craziest. Like if somebody said that to me, I would know that they were insane.
Maybe he ends up being a serial killer, his character.
I mean, from that line, I would guess that he has to be. Because that's just and the way he says it is really sinister, too.
That's but, what a villain would say.
Right, exactly. It's like the guy, like a villain from Mission Impossible 4 or something like that.
Exactly.
When I can't sleep, I like to sculpt orchids because it's the only thing that will silence the voices in my head.
Can I read my 2 favorite lines?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's hear your notes.
So they're interrogating that rich teenager. I guess he's supposed to be the rich kid, but he looked like another Las Vegas motel kid. He wasn't. Right. But his daddy was a lawyer. But when he says "epic fail, sir."
Yes. Yeah. That was how we knew he was a teenager.
Yeah. Exactly. And then when a medical examiner / scientist / CSI team member refers to female genitalia as the down there place.
I didn't even catch that.
It's the same guy, the same Sheldon-y guy you're talking about, I think.
Oh, okay. I was probably just still buzzing over the pubic region quote.
Like, can you imagine if you were like an ME or a scientist or something, and that's what you called like vulvas and vaginas?
Right. You still couldn't bring yourself to say it.
Ugh, crazy.
Aren't you not supposed to call it a vagina? Because you're supposed to call it like a vulva or something now.
Well, a vulva is the external parts,
Right.
visible genitalia.
Which I guess is what they were talking about.
Yeah, but everybody calls it vagina. They're wrong. My mom like always like wanted me to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, kid. Did you have any other notes? I had one final note.
I had more notes.
Okay, what else you got?
Let's see. Okay. So yeah, I've not really watched. I watched that one episode, but I've never watched CSI before. But holy shit, that credit sequence is frightening.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the credits.
Right. It looks like Seven. Do you remember?
Yes,
movie
exactly.
Seven? Yeah.
It's just like this. Like, I mean, it's just corpse-a-palooza. It's horrible. And I said, my God, how do people watch this show every week? Just because it's so it's like truly, it's like, what's the most disgusting thing we could show? That's probably not even true. But what can we show?
People always act like I'm a weirdo for loving like horror movies.
Oh, this is way more fucked up.
This is way more fucked up.
Watching this on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and it's on television. Like, it's not like within the confines of an R-rated movie. It's like
I was truly shocked.
Yeah.
That this is how disgusting it is.
Yeah, and and I've overheard enough, like as my parents were watching it, that it's like this was a pretty tame episode, but like, I don't know, just like all the talk about rape and like all the, like kind of mutilation, and it's weird that, and there's like 40 hours of television per week that are like this same type of show. I don't understand. I don't understand the appeal. I don't understand.
I think that's why Sydney stopped watching SVU, and I kind of around the same time was like, yeah, man, like every week the entertainment pretty much comes from women being assaulted. Well, and that's the stakes of every episode, which I understand it's Law and Order SVU. Of course that's true. But it's like every, I mean, it's entertainment is like, who got raped this week?
Right. Well, but, okay. I mean, the entertainment isn't necessarily, I mean, I guess some of the episodes they show rape scenes, but I think the entertainment's supposed to come from catching the bad guy. And that's, like in our society, the worst thing you can do is rape somebody. So it's like, you got to have like those high stakes every, I don't think it's like I guess they are exploiting rape, but I don't think it's like everybody's tuning in.
I agree with you, but it's like, okay, what's the worst way he could, like, just the way that it requires you to think, just by necessity, not in like some evil way, but just like, if you're gonna have a show every week about rape, then you have to be the most inventive rapist, there is.
Right.
And like there was there was a storyline last season and this season that was like kind of controversial, I think. And I watched it because we were at the gym and you only have like 3 channels, so I'm like watching SVU again. It's like I'd much prefer to watch that to like Real Housewives or something. And it was just like, I mean, the whole episode, it was like Hostel, really.
Right. Yeah.
Like it was just Detective Benson in peril, just like being forced to play Russian roulette on network primetime television, and I'm just in front of a child, and it's just like, and like the bad guy shoots himself, and his blood shoots all over her face. It's just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Right.
Fuck this. It's
horrible. It's strange, and I mean, I guess it's we're relatively young. I think most of the people that watch these shows are middle-aged to older. And I think what we're really saying is that we're worried that the old people have become desensitized to sex and violence, and that they just keep needing higher and higher stakes.
No, I'll tell you, the thing that made me stop watching SVU was an episode where Olivia apprehends a rapist. I think she goes like with the rape victim to a party that this guy will be at, so that I think like he got off of his like he didn't go to jail for it. Like they went to trial and he wasn't convicted. So Olivia goes to like this yacht party, and so that the lady can at least like confront him and have closure that way, and like he ends up admitting something that allows Olivia to arrest him again, and Olivia, as she's putting the handcuffs on him, goes, you're my bitch now." And I'm like, oh, so this show has no understanding of violence against women or like any, like, it's just like, okay. So basically, and like Elliot used to say that all the time. Detective Stabler used to say like, hey, you're going to get raped in prison now. As if that's justice for people who diddle children and stuff or rape women. It's like, now you're going to get raped every day. Like, no, that's still rape. That's still horrible.
Right.
And illegal and shouldn't happen to anyone. But it's like, okay, this show completely misunderstands its own subject matter. So I'm done.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hear you. And what's extra perplexing, you know, and I kind of already said this, but yeah, like, that's one show. Yes. But like I said, there's 40 of these on a week. So it's like if it was one show, I'd be like, you know, it happened. Like, sure, you know, it's an hour of television a week. There's all sorts of stuff on television. But this was like, I don't know if it still is, but I know for like kind of last decade, this was all that was on primetime television. Mm-hmm. There was reality television, and then there was like police procedurals.
Yeah.
But they're the same.
It's starting to change a little bit, but...
Okay. They're like the same thing every week, and it's all that like weird like kind of like outside the law type of justice. And
I think people are getting back into like, I mean, it's still, I guess, procedural, but like more of a Murder, She Wrote type thing, or like different kinds of series that aren't just about like rape and murder and body decomp.
Right. Like torture and stuff.
Like, but I'm a fan. I've like in the last week just gotten on board with Sleepy Hollow, which is a show I never really liked, but I like it now. And it's just like, it occurred to me as I was watching it, because I binge watched them, like, to catch up. I watched everything. And I'm like, wait a minute. This means every week in primetime, there's just wall-to-wall satanic, like, biblically based satanic imagery. Just, like, the whole time. Just, like, people in hell, pentagrams, like, all, just, like, the whole time. Yeah. And it's funny because, like, they, like, the key to the show is George Washington's Bible. So it's all, like, attempting to be very, like, biblically based, like a biblical idea of what the apocalypse or what hell would be like. Huh. But there's no counterforce of, like, God or Jesus involved, because you can't do that, obviously.
Right.
But there's all the, like, the specificity about hell, and, like, none of the thing that's supposed to, like, counterbalance it in any way.
So if only there was some alternative.
Yeah. Like, Ichabod Crane is the world's only hope. There is no God. There's only hell and Satan.
Yeah, and if they were to bring in some sort of some God or Jesus business, people would be like, I don't like it when Sleepy Hollow got all religious.
Yeah.
Okay, my final. Was that what we had on CSI?
I still have a couple more, I think.
Okay, go ahead.
My question was, like, why is Taylor Swift in this episode? Why was she needed to play this girl?
Right. I think I know she loves Law and Order, so I'm guessing maybe she had put the word out, like, I want to be in a TV show.
Well, like, I've seen, like, on Law and Order, let's say, I think if Law and Order had Taylor Swift on, they would have her play a version of herself. They would have her play a musician who somehow gets involved in an investigation.
See, yeah, that would have been super cool.
Yeah.
But this is terrible.
Yeah, but, like,
but that
not
also is,
a motel
that's a big
girl.
Yeah, that's a big difference between CSI and Law and Order too. I always felt like Law and Order was a lot less. Law and Order is a lot less stupid than CSI.
I'm so confused. So 117 days before Taylor was blonde, she had black hair, and then before that black hair, she had brown hair. It was really confusing. Enhance is one of my notes. I can't remember when they enhanced.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Well, I don't think anyone said enhanced, but they enhanced.
Oh,
in
okay.
order to see something. I guess that the homeless guy enhanced in order to detect that there was meth in the coffee cup.
That's true. He just looked at the cup.
Yeah.
Maybe he had an app. that could detect traces of meth.
Oh, I went from watching Blackish to watching this, and Lauren Fishburne just happens to be in both of those television shows. So it
What
was
is Blackish?
Blackish is a new sitcom with Anthony Anderson and Tracee Ellis Ross and Lawrence Fishburne. That's about this like affluent black family. And I've watched 2 episodes, and it's not bad.
That's cool.
It's not like hilarious, but it's probably the best new comedy pilot I've watched so far, which, I mean, that's not saying much, but it's pretty good.
I only watch television from like 1999 or before. That's kind of my rule.
Why was that guy making an electromagnet? Like, I never even understood why he was making it until you said that just now.
Right. He was. Yeah. We won't explain it again.
Yeah. And then I was like, what the fuck? Really? Her mother killed her? And I said, I thought this story would be something about, like, a cycle of abuse or poverty or something, but it just doesn't even make sense on a family tragedy level. It just really makes no sense.
Right. Yeah, the episode made...
I don't know what I was supposed to learn.
Well,
other than that Lawrence Fishburne is a serial killer.
Don't run after your daughter with scissors. Yeah, and that Lawrence Fishburne is going to kill everybody.
But, like, they could have just, like... They should have just started with, like, Taylor Swift... dead, and I've been like, who did it? Her mother. Okay, the end. Like, that's all I got.
Right. Yeah, this was hard to watch. It was only like 45 minutes long without commercials, but this felt like it took forever. Part of the reason being that there were 6 stories within the one episode, but sometimes that's fun, but this was not fun.
Ouch.
So the one good thing I took from this was it gave me a movie idea.
Okay.
Would you like to hear my movie idea, Kit?
Yes.
You would? Well, good. It's called Too Many Taylors. Taylor Swift plays Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, and even more Taylor Swifts in this fun family comedy. Before a big show, Taylor Swift steps into a cloning machine, mistaking it for an old-timey phone booth. Whatever, either way.
Photo booth works.
Yeah, it works. But several Taylors pop out, each one with one distinct personality trait. The real Taylor teams up with Goofy Taylor, Posh Taylor, Tiny Taylor, Construction Worker Taylor, Punk Taylor, and Brainy Taylor to stop Evil Taylor from activating a mind control device during a Good Morning America performance and enslaving all of humanity. It's Taylor versus Taylor. Whoever wins, we win. Pretty good, right?
It's like Multiplicity.
Right, but with Taylor Swift, that'd be a pretty good movie.
Maybe I don't know, maybe if you, like, find a way to professionally pitch that to her people, you could become friends with her.
Maybe. Taylor, if you're listening, I bet we could get a Kickstarter, get some financing for that. That'd be pretty good. Also, the way I kind of envisioned it, because I thought about this a lot more than I've just, that was the good part that I just read to you. But I was thinking there could be nobody else in the movie except Taylor Swift.
No.
So it's like, there's no, but it's like if there's like a janitor or something in one of the scenes, it's like just Taylor Swift with like a mustache or something like that.
Okay.
But all the Taylor clones look just like Taylor Swift, but then she even plays like, like her manager's like, Taylor, the show starts in 15 minutes. Like it's like every single person is Taylor Swift. I feel like that would probably be one of the best movies ever made. But anyways, so yeah, Taylor, if you're out there, or if any of Taylor's people are listening, give me a call. That idea is for sale. It's not. I don't know what you say.
You wouldn't charge her for it.
Oh no, I wouldn't. I would want to direct though. I think it's only fair. Or I could write the script.
I think you got a better shot at writing the script.
You don't think I could direct that?
I think maybe you could. I don't think anyone would give you the chance, but they would probably give you a chance to write the script.
Right. Well,
if you wrote the script.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be fine with that. So yeah, we'll do that. So how much funding do you think you and Lee would be willing to submit for my film?
I don't think you need to kickstart it. I think you need to write the script and sell it.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea. Or I could just, when she comes through town next time, I could just like throw it up on stage. Just,
If you do write a script, then one episode of this podcast can be a table read.
Ooh, that'd be good. But a table read would just be, it would be all her. She would be reading every line.
Well, no, there would have to be someone who's playing Evil Taylor.
Right.
It would be a very, very confusing table read and a very confusing movie. But
right.
Yeah, how the fuck So they have like a black streak in her hair if she's evil Taylor. Or...
No, they would all look exactly the same.
Mike.
But they would dress differently because it's like the punk one would have like a leather jacket.
But you named like there's like a dozen Taylors.
Well, Tiny Taylor.
This would be more confusing than an episode of CSI.
Tiny Taylor is that'd be fun to attempt to be more confusing than CSI. Okay, so Tiny Taylor came out of the machine kind of wrong. Like she's fine. She's healthy. She's fine, but she's just like a tiny version. She's like a 3 foot tall version of Taylor Swift. And then like posh Taylor, she's like, she dresses all posh. And Goofy Taylor is like regular Taylor, but she's like the goofy one. Construction worker Taylor dresses like a construction worker. Punk Taylor has a leather jacket. And then Brainy Taylor would have like a white lab coat and glasses. So you would know that she's like smart. And then Evil Taylor would just, maybe she could have like a black streak in her hair or something just so we know that she's evil. But yeah, for the most part, it would just be regular Taylor Swift. So we will start with the first episode of SNL, season 34, episode 12, where she was just the musical guest.
Okay.
And you sent me the link, but I couldn't actually watch this, but I think I've seen him before. But did you have anything on this one?
She was in a sketch, too.
Oh, what sketch was she in?
It was a terrible sketch about Broadway characters. She played Annie.
Was she good?
She just had to sing tomorrow. It was fine. And wear a red curly wig.
Okay. Cool.
So,
sounds good.
It's fine.
What songs did she play?
Love Story and Forever and Always.
Okay. I think we watched this. I think this is like the first thing I'd seen of her. We talked about it a while ago, a couple weeks ago.
I think I saw this too, maybe. And I was like, oh, well, okay, I'm sorry, Mike. I was like, oh, it's too bad she can't really sing that well. Which I disagree with now. I think she can sing well, but her voice has improved a lot since this, because she looks really cute, but the performance seems to lack a little energy. But yeah, Love Story, I think, is a melody that is almost too hard for her to sing. Like, it's so low, the verses.
Mm-hmm.
That it's hard to stay on key for her, but or anyone. So it's really not the best vocal performance, but she looks really cute in it.
Yeah.
I think she was nervous or something. It lacks a little bit. It wasn't perfect. It lacked a little bit of energy, but she's cute.
Right. Okay.
And then Forever and Always, I don't remember what she was wearing, but I said, oh, I remember. What a cute outfit. She looks like Wednesday Addams.
Yeah.
She has like a little black skirt and a little black top with a white collar.
Yeah, see, we talked about that. We watched this episode of Your House way back in the day.
Okay.
And this was like one of the first times. This is why I downloaded Fearless.
All right.
But yeah. Good times.
I kind of miss seeing her just play guitar. And then I noted, I like how on both of these performances, they emphasize that her guitar is purely extraneous by taking it away from her or having her stop playing it in the middle of the chorus.
Just so she sings, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said she really sounds like Avril sometimes, but her voice sounds so weak on this song to me. Like, I don't think she's pulling off the vocals on this particular night.
Right. All right, fair enough.
But
yeah, and I haven't seen
young.
it for quite a while, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to do the next episode?
Sure.
So this is also Saturday
I
Night
watched
Live.
all the sketches that she was in and graded them. On a
Okay,
scale
yeah,
of 1 to
I watched
10.
all of this except for Weekend Update. I skipped over.
Okay.
So the monologue. I remember Seth Meyers, when she was on a month or two ago,
Yeah.
had said, like, she came to them and was like, I wrote my own monologue, and they were all like, shit, like, we're gonna have to tell her that it's terrible, and all that kind of thing. But he said that, yeah, they were all really happy with it, and he said he was delighted that he didn't have to write a monologue. So. But yeah, I think the monologue. Write. What's that?
Because it's the worst thing to write.
Right. Well, yeah, which makes sense. That would be very difficult because that's the sketches. It's kind of like the pressure's on everybody else, but like the pressure's on the host. And plus, you're trying to keep people watching or draw people in, I guess. But yeah, I thought it was really funny. I actually think that song's kind of catchy. Like, it's definitely, like, it's just a joke song, but it's pretty funny.
But, like, it's actually a good song. I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah, and so I guess this was right after the Kanye stuff, so she kind of focused on that, and it's kind of interesting just seeing how her, beyond her actual career, like her music, it's interesting seeing how kind of her public image becomes shaped over the years, like throughout these TV shows and movies and stuff. Like, the majority of people are just going to know Taylor Swift, especially around this time, is like, oh, she's that lady that Kanye, interrupted. And, yeah. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
I thought she looked a little nervous at first. She was making tight fists.
Yeah.
And I did like the jokes that she was young, but you could tell she got like really comfortable once she could start singing her song.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think she does, and I felt like this way, I guess, about like Valentine's Day too. I think she does a good job at playing like a little bit of a dumb blonde character, or like just like a maybe innocent or naive blonde character. Like, she's funny when she does that, and I thought like I thought she did great on this song. Not only like writing it, but delivering it. Like the delivery of "Hey Joe, I'm doing real well" was like really funny.
Yeah.
Like, she did a really good job. And, like, I gave it an 8 out of 10, which would be probably my highest monologue rating for anyone who doesn't just do their stand-up or isn't Jack Black, who I think does awesome monologues. But, yeah,
I didn't know he ever hosted.
He hosted one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even the funniest episode. It's just he is one of my favorite hosts of SNL.
Yeah.
He just has, like, the best energy. And, I mean, he's a sketch performer, so... So you've never seen the sketch that on his episode, they did a sketch that's, like, this, it's like an infomercial for a birthday song, but it's, like, an epic version of, like, Happy Birthday, and I find it really funny, and I think you might like it, too.
Huh. No, I've never seen it. Yeah. I mean, I never watch Saturday Night Live or anything like that.
I watched it every week and all the time. I watched Saturday Night Live.
The Kate Gosselin impersonation sketch. What was the rating for this one? And are you rating the sketches?
I'm rating her. No, I'm rating the sketches. But I mentioned how she did in them as an independent thing. Kind of.
Yeah, I mostly focused on because we had kind of said when we did the Hollywood episode that we're going to kind of focus on the movies or the TV. So I kind of focused on the sketches more than her in them. Okay, cool. So the Kate Gosselin one, what'd you think?
Seems like a really weird idea to have her play Kate Gosselin.
Right.
Like, I don't see how that serves her particular talents in any way, especially since it could have been anyone, because they said, like, she was a guest host. It wasn't like she needed to be one of the ladies from The View. They could have picked any celebrity and been like, she's guest hosting The View today. And I don't know why they went with Kate Gosselin to have like a 19-year-old player or whatever.
Yeah.
And the sketch is fucking terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty weak material.
But not because of her.
Well, I mean, all they were doing. I mean, another thing too is this was 2009, I guess. But like in 2014, I don't remember the last time I heard of Kate Gosselin, and like. So this is not a sketch that has much lasting value. And really the jokes were just kind of like, isn't Kate Gosselin like an attention whore? So, I mean, that's, maybe at the time it was a little funnier, but yeah.
But everything else going on around her, because that wasn't even like necessarily the focus of the sketch, was just like, I don't know.
Just making fun of the View ladies?
Yeah. Which it just was, like, I thought which, look, that's not a hard thing to make fun of. That show is a fucking train wreck. But, like, the Elizabeth Hasselbeck impersonation is terrible. The only thing that makes me laugh in that sketch, and Lee and I both love Fred Armisen's Joy Behar impression.
Right.
And
they do that too much, though. Like
I know.
Yeah.
Because it's the only funny thing that happens, but whenever one of us says, who cares, we go, who cares?
Right.
Like, and pick at our blouse. But that's, yeah, it just was like nothing.
Yeah.
Who was who came out and was like the guest on it?
I really don't remember.
I don't remember either. What a terrible sketch. 2 out of 10.
Okay, 2 out of 10. So the next one was the Frankenstein parody for Firelight, and this actually I think this was one of my favorite parts of the episode. I thought this was pretty funny. Mostly, I thought they did a really good job, like kind of parodying the style.
Yes,
like it looked very Twilighty.
And she did a really good job of playing Kristen Stewart without without doing anything too much, you know.
Right.
Because you could do a real but it was more like, here's a realistic recreation of what Twilight is, but with Frankensteins.
Right. It was good. I like that one. So the next one was Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader were like the really
Hollywood
expressive
Dish.
Hollywood Dish. So is that like a regular sketch?
I think they might have done that at least one other time, but I remember that one. I
thought this was kind of funny, but like pretty much every other sketch on SNL, like it just goes on for so long.
Yeah.
Like for 2 minutes, I would have laughed, but then after that, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, like we get it. They're weirdly expressive. But anyways, I thought
and she didn't get to do anything.
Not really. She just kind of was confused by their reaction. Yeah. She was the straight lady. But,
and I did know, then after that they went to commercial and it was January Jones as the next host. And that's one of the worst episodes I've ever seen of Saturday Night Live. Yes, she was horrendously bad.
January. So the next one was Bad Parent Drivers. Wait, what did you say?
Trapped. That's the name of the sketch.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, Teens Again. Yeah. Okay, so this, I actually laughed out loud at this one when she does she's like pleading with her mom and her voice cracks.
Yes, yeah.
That was very funny.
I think this was her best performance.
Yeah.
In a sketch that would have been more suited to all that.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
But it was funny. It was good, and she was very good. Yeah,
I think, and like you were saying, though, she's good at playing kind of like naive or ditzy blonde, like kind of, like this is very suited to her. But yeah, so I like this one. Next, she played You Belong With Me. Thought it was good.
Vocal's not great.
Right. See, okay, one thing about SNL's music performances, like if we're going to pretend like, oh, Taylor Swift wasn't great on SNL, she must not be that great. Like, I think there have maybe been 3 times in the history of Saturday Night Live, the 35-year history, where the musical guest was it was like, wow, that was really good. Like, almost.
That's such bullshit.
Regardless of who it is, it's almost always just kind of like, okay, like that was fine.
That's
it's
so
almost
not true.
Never good. That's completely true.
Not true at all. If you're talking, I will say in the last 15 years, maybe even more.
Okay, well, I didn't watch it.
They used to have fucking George Harrison on Saturday Night Live.
I didn't watch it before I was alive, but we'll say as long as I've been watching SNL, it's always been like, even if it's like somebody I love, when they get on.
I think that's wrong. Have you seen Radiohead's performance?
I think I did. I think I've seen them on SNL.
Radiohead's performance is one of the best things I've ever seen. St. Vincent was just on. That performance was incredible. I'm telling you, you're wrong about that.
Right. When I said I don't watch SNL, I've tuned in for an artist that I really like.
Sparks was on, had a fucking amazing performance.
Who's Sparks?
Band. B-52s, and I'm not just going, St. Vincent was on, last season, and that performance was amazing, and it felt like an old, but I'll agree with you that their sound quality, especially over the last decade, has been pretty poor.
Okay.
U2 was on, and it was amazing.
See, okay, whatever.
I think they made a shift where they started having, they used to have more alternative acts.
Right.
While also being one of the, and more mainstream rock kind of acts. Now, they've made a shift in recent seasons of let's let people vote for which YouTube star they want to have on Saturday Night Live. And then, obviously, it sucks.
Right. See, and I haven't seen any of those. I'm just saying that in the past, 2 decades, the handful of times where I've been like, oh, I like this musical artist. I hear they're on SNL. I go check it out. It's never like I've never watched a performance on SNL and been like, oh, that was really good. Like, to me, it's always just, and I think part of it is the crowd. You have like this whole group of people who don't necessarily know that artist. It's the same way if like they're on Letterman or something like that. Like sometimes, yeah, it's good, but for the most part, I think live music does not translate through a talk show or television.
I will kind of agree with that, but like that it's the live music through television thing. But I will say, I think Saturday Night Live has been one of the most important venues for musical performance on television for the last 40 years and has produced some remarkable things and seems to be the kind of place where people still want to do something interesting with their performance, unless they're stupid like Ariana Grande or whatever. But, like, people try to be inventive about what they do and put on a good show. Like, even more so than if they're on The Tonight Show. Like, I think if you're on The Tonight Show, there's less you can do. Usually it's just, like, you get this stage, play your song.
Right.
On Saturday Night Live, sometimes there's really weird, inventive, or cool stuff happening. Just not when you ask Carmen to be on it or whatever.
Yeah, and you, like, you know, I shouldn't have spoken so generally. Like, you've seen way, way more than I have of SNL.
Yeah, I've seen virtually every one of them.
Right, and so I'm talking more like the times I've tuned in. I've never just been, like, even for artists I've never been like, wow, that was great. So anyways, I skipped Weekend Update. But
okay, me too. Or, well, I mean, she wasn't in it, so.
The next sketch was the wedding one-upper.
Penelope. I skipped this. I hate this character. 0 out of 10.
It was really
Worst
annoying.
thing ever.
That was my note was brunette T Swift and sketch is annoying. So Scared Straight, she had cornrows. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I think her visual was what contributed to the sketch.
What's that?
Her visual was what contributed to the sketch.
Right. Yeah, and she had like a little goatee. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I thought this sketch was really funny at first. Like when he was it was like he was telling them like he was kind of going through like movie plots.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. But then it went on for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes too long. And then it was kind of just into like the graphic rape type of jokes. And like that can be funny, but like I'm not like morally opposed to a rape joke. So that's not what my complaint was, but it was just kind of like there wasn't anything unique or funny about the joke.
I don't think that this is the best. This is a recurring sketch. I don't think this is the best example of it, but I think this is a really good sketch, and I think Kenan does a really good job of like of doing the movie plot and like making you forget at first that it's just a movie plot. Like there's a lot of delight in this sketch,
right? In
figuring out first what movie he's talking about, and second like what rape pun he's gonna do. But I agree. This one went on a little too long. I don't know. It wasn't as sharp as other versions of this sketch I've seen.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know this was recurring.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit salvaged.
Talking to like a grandpa about SNL.
Yeah, that's true. It's like talking to a grandpa a lot of the time we talk. But yeah, I thought it sort of saved the sketch a bit when Bill Hader started laughing. I was not always, but a lot of times I find that kind of fun when it's like they're having a good time and try not to laugh.
Jason Sudeikis always jumps on the desk at the end in that weird way.
Yeah.
And that is almost, well, if they don't break while Kenan's yelling at them, then when Jason jumps on the desk, all three of them usually start laughing. Just because, like, he'll knock shit, like, stuff will go flying off the desk. But yeah.
Okay.
I like that sketch, too.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was kind of funny. So the next sketch was the roommate sketch. Who was the lady that she was, like, roommates with?
Nasim Pedrad.
Nasim Pedrad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
I mean, it's like, I recognize... Is she still on the show?
She, is now on Mulaney.
Mulaney? Okay. She looked like... She was, like, one of the newer cast members, I guess, that I recognized. Because, like, I knew, you know, Bill Hader, Kristen Wiig, Fred Armisen. But a lot of the younger faces I didn't really recognize. But anyways, yeah. I thought this sketch was pretty good. I thought it was funny.
I I think I love... Well, first of all, I think it's funny that this is what we were talking about in the last episode. This is like a sketch about what we were talking about in the last episode. About how girls are.
Right, that's true.
And she's really good in it. And, like, her acting is, like, actually good. She's, like, is embodying that character very well, which makes sense, because I think it's basically her.
Yeah.
And it feels like the only sketch so far that might have actually been written with her in mind. You know?
That's
it's
true.
like, oh, Taylor Swift would be good at this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe it's hilarious, but I really liked it. I really liked the verisimilitude and, like, just the idea of someone making a joke about that. Like, I think it's joking about something real. And I really... The part where she's dragging Nassim.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought this was, like, one of the best sketches in the episode, for sure.
I would agree. I didn't think there were a lot of very strong sketches, but this was one that I was, like, kind of chuckling at. There wasn't, like, one part where I was, like, cracking up, but it was more enjoyable. It was, one of the more enjoyable ones. But, so is that lady still on it, or she's just on Mulaney now?
I think she's off Saturday Night Live now.
Okay.
No, she's still on it. She was on the last episode. She's doing both, I guess.
Okay. Probably, until Mulaney takes off, you probably don't want to abandon ship.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then she performed Untouchable. That was a pretty good performance.
What the fuck happened to introducing her? Did you see that? Someone fucked up?
Yeah, I think they turned the wrong camera on first, or like had it on, because then you could just hear somebody like off to the side be like, Taylor Swift. So then after this, I think they saved like the most esoteric sketch for kind of right before the end when fewer people would be watching. But it was the Bunny Business soundtrack.
It's so funny how you say that, Mike. Like, because it is like you're an unfrozen caveman lawyer who is it's like, yeah, the 10-to-1 sketch is a thing. It's it's always the most esoteric sketch that is like sometimes the best, sometimes just weird, but the most risky sketch is a 10-to-1 in every episode of Saturday Night Live.
Okay. No, I think I knew that. I think I've heard like Bill Hader say like they put the weirder stuff on last if they put it on at all. But I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. Yes.
Get off my lawn. So U2 was featured. I'm sure you were happy about that.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, this is it's not even an esoteric sketch, really. It's a sketch that's like a venue for impressions.
True. But I think
one of the most classic kinds of... Yeah, the bunny business thing was all weird.
Yeah, I think the joke of the sketch was kind of, not really convoluted, but just sort of like buried under... You have to view, maybe... Like it was just kind of a weird premise, weird setup.
I honestly think her Shakira's impression was one of the better things. This was weak. First of all, like a Natalie Merchant impression in 2009.
Right.
Awesome. And then Jeff Frankenhauser does a better Adam Duritz impression. And he never even went like Adam from Counting Crows. It was Andy Samberg was playing him. And it's like, he didn't even go, yeah, at any point. I don't know. It's crazy. It was just like so lazy.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
4 out of 10.
So that was, then after that it was just the curtain call. So.
Lame. Bad episode.
Bad episode. Overall, yeah, I did not like it much more than I like most episodes of Saturday Night Live. But I do think she did a pretty good job in some of the sketches. And I would like to see her, like on an episode. I don't know, is the cast right now any good? I honestly don't. I don't know.
It's last episode was horrible. They had Sarah Silverman hosting. Which should be good, and it was really bad.
Okay. So I guess if they had good writers, I would say I'd like to see her on it again.
Well, that's the thing. The head writers right now are no bueno.
Okay.
At all.
That's too bad. Well, so maybe we don't want to see her on it for a couple seasons, but I would like to see. I think she does a really good job with like comedic little sketch type of stuff.
I think it's really, really unfortunate that John Mulaney left Saturday Night Live for what will likely be a really shitty sitcom, and instead of becoming head writer, because he was the writer of Stefan, and as far as I know,
Stefan. So that's a good. I've seen clips of that.
As far as I know, I don't know who they would have gone to other than John Mulaney to be head writer after Seth Meyers left.
They should have me do it. I mean, you heard my Too Many Taylors sketch earlier. That was really funny.
That's not a sketch. That's a feature.
It's kind of a sketch. You could make it a sketch on SNL.
I'd probably be better.
I'd be a great
God, Mike, I cannot... Can you imagine if that really was a sketch on SNL and people were like, who the fuck... Like... It's like you want to keep her... I don't know. It's just like producing material for... exclusively for people who are obsessed with Taylor Swift.
Right. Well, that's what's funny about it, though.
It'd be so strange.
It wouldn't be strange. People would love it.
If the sketch was about the fact that you thought it was funny, then maybe.
Okay. Well, I think it would be a great sketch. Lorne Michaels, if you're listening, and you need a head writer, let me know.
He does need one.
What's that?
He does need one.
Does it? Yeah. I mean, I'm super funny. People like me.
I agree. It should be John Mulaney, though. Sorry, Mike.
Be a great pick. I'm not as funny as John Mulaney, but he doesn't have John Mulaney anymore. So.
I know.
So there you go. All right. So let's hurry the hell up because I'm getting hungry. But We've got 2010's Valentine's Day to discuss.
Uh-huh.
I have a lot to say about this.
We haven't talked about New Girl yet, though.
That's like 2013.
Oh, we're going in order. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right.
Whew, this movie. And again, we're discussing less T-Swift. We're discussing more of the movie.
Yeah. I want to start by saying I found her to be a bright spot in this film.
I did too.
And well, no shit. I'm not obsessed with her, and if she was terrible, I would have no problem saying that.
Uh-huh.
But honestly, in terms of just like having some life and spirit to her, and like even some realism, like I thought she brought it more than at least 50% of the actors in this movie.
Okay. I agree completely that she was the best part about this movie. But
which is not what I said, but okay.
I hear you loud and clear. This, like, okay, I had seen most of this before, but I fast forwarded to see her parts. Like, and I caught bits and pieces when it was like something weird was happening. I was like, I got to see what this is about. But for the most part, I hadn't seen this movie. So I watched this movie last week, and like, I don't know why, but it kind of won me over after like the halfway point. And I sort of liked it.
Oh.
But that'll give us good stuff to talk about, because I can tell by that noise that you didn't care for it. You don't care for it all that.
I love it in that it is a Gary Marshall joint, and those are like my favorite, especially a Gary Marshall joint where the setting of the film is important. Because he loves taking a town like San Francisco or Los Angeles and treating it like it's Stars Hollow.
Right.
That
was an interesting approach.
Yeah.
So I guess I just kind of have notes in order on the movie.
Go for it.
Okay. But most of them I kind of want to hear, like your take. Some of them are just questions. Okay. So I noticed that the New Line logo at the beginning had a variation on "Today Was a Fairy Tale" behind it. That was kind of cool.
Yep.
But the first question was, there's the scene where Ashton Kutcher proposes to Jessica Alba. And I wondered, could a proposal in a movie not seem fake? Or like have you ever seen a proposal in a film that didn't seem like contrived bullshit? Because like even this was like really understated. Like if they wake up, he proposes to her, but just something about it seemed like, I mean, it was fake, but... Here's
my response to that.
Okay.
I've never been proposed to, so I don't know.
Didn't Lee propose to you?
No, not really.
No?
No.
Okay.
And part of me is very grateful for that, because I don't know how you would ever do that and have it not be stagey.
Right.
To begin with.
Right.
I don't know how you do a proposal other than... I mean, I proposed to Lee, completely off the cuff, but
didn't you say you guys were just walking around?
Well, I proposed to him summer of 2010. And it was just like, he just said something that made me go like, I want to marry you, I'm certain. Like, and I like, I know you're gonna think I'm joking and you're not gonna say yes, but I mean it. If you said yes right now, we'd be engaged.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, haha. But
wait, really?
Yeah, but I mean, I meant it. But that was just like completely spur of the moment, you know. And his proposal to me was, we were walking down the street to go get Coke the day after his graduation, and I was like, bro, so are we getting married this summer or what? Because we'd been talking about it, and I'm like, if the clock is ticking in terms of whether I can plan a wedding for this summer, and if we don't get married this summer, then we're waiting another year. Because we can't not get married in the summer. We just won't have a wedding or something, you know?
Right.
So there was a lot of practical stuff, and so I said that for like, I don't know, the 50th time that summer or whatever. And he was like, well, I wasn't going to do this now, but yeah, do you want to get married? And I was like, yeah. And so that was it.
Aww.
But yeah, but like I've asked him since then, I've like, how would you have proposed? And he was like, I don't know, restaurant or something. And I wouldn't want that.
Right.
That'd be embarrassing.
What year did you get married?
2011.
11?
Yeah.
Oh wow, so it's been 3 years already?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. That doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Me either.
But yeah, and I guess I've never really considered how I would propose to somebody, but the people I know who've proposed have kind of done it in a showy type of way. But I don't know, yeah. Like I'm just, if I was the lady being proposed to, I hate it when people like look at me and like I'm like the center of attention.
Me too.
So,
me too.
And that wouldn't necessarily ruin it, but I have a hard time understanding like and actually this is addressed later in the film by George Lopez. Mm-hmm. He says something like, to some people, love doesn't exist unless you acknowledge it in front of other people. But he doesn't say it really judgmentally. He just
yeah.
And I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. But that is something about like romantic love that has kind of perplexed me. Mm-hmm. Is that I'm not a big. When it comes to some things, I'm a big showboat. But when it comes to stuff like that, it's like you keep it extraordinarily close to the chest and only tell your 3 closest friends, but tell them different variations so that if it ever leaks out, you know exactly which friend you have to kill, that kind of thing.
The only thing I could ever think of for a proposal that I wouldn't hate, that was like an actual like, because even if I just like came home and there was like, hey, he's there and there's like candles and he's like, you know, like a friend's situation. That would make me uncomfortable too. I would just be like, don't be weird, you know. Like, but the only thing I could ever think of that was like would be kind of cool, but I probably would end up hating because it would be majorly center of attention. Is like if he had done it at like a Mooner show, that would have been.
Oh yeah.
That would have been okay, because at least I felt like that would have suited like our relationship in some way. But he's a very, very, very non-showy private person too, so he wouldn't have been comfortable exploiting his audience in that way, I don't think. Yeah.
I guess one thing in terms of watching them in movies is they always have it so there's some drama in like whether or not she'll say yes. But I feel like
most people know.
Right. In reality, it's like I would never ask a person who I hadn't like basically asked before, like, so you're not going to humiliate me in front of this big flash mob at the Super Bowl, are you?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, anyways. So yeah, this is the notes from the first half. I'm still kind of like cynically processing the film.
Okay.
But so the next thing was Jennifer Garner is in bed while her doctor lover is freshening up and getting ready to start his day. And he's got to go to San Francisco to perform heart surgery that like only he can do, and she says, "I can't believe you're leaving me on Valentine's Day," which Her character almost lost me, but I felt like later.
Well, and that's how I feel about this entire movie. This movie has a premise which I find hard to accept, which is that everybody cares about Valentine's Day a lot.
Right.
Like the whole city of Los Angeles is on fire for Los Angeles, or for Valentine's Day. Right.
Which is kind of like, that is a charming. It wasn't done in the most charming way, but I do like that. Like, I think what I phrased it. Okay, so Kutcher has a line at one point where he says, "It's Valentine's Day. You don't think, you just do," which I think is kind of the premise of the movie, and that's kind of what makes it fun or like compelling. But I also liked that the atmosphere around it was like everybody was obsessed with Valentine's Day. And actually, even after I watched this before I went to work, and when I went to work, it was kind of like a sunny day that didn't really feel. It wasn't chilly yet. It was a warmer day, and for some reason, I felt like I was like I almost said like Happy Valentine's Day to a couple people. Like I just felt like I didn't really, but like I just, you know how you kind of get that, like, I don't know if that ever happens to you. You're just kind of on autopilot. Yeah, like it felt like just because. Yeah, it just felt like the community was like so obsessed with that. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like definitely not real, but
I think the problem then is that I would be okay with that if the movie was something like Valentine's Day Town, you know.
Right.
But
that would not be as good as Too Many Tailors, Kit.
But it's being offered as like, no, women really will have a meltdown if they don't have a date on Valentine's Day.
Right.
Like that, or like that's, I don't know. That's hard to swallow for me.
Although I do take it, like I've been single on every single Valentine's Day. Yes, that's true. Because you know how I'm with the ladies. But
yeah,
I do find myself on Valentine's Day, like especially when I was in college, kind of not having like the chocolate and tears meltdown like Jessica Biel had, but you're like super bummed and you're like, oh god, like I hate Valentine's Day. When really like that's kind of stupid to be like I hate Valentine's. Like it's for other people to celebrate, but you get that kind of like resentful of others, and then like really pitiful, like pitying yourself, self-pitying, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, and so that was just kind of exaggerated for comedy in quotes. But anyways, yeah, I don't think we're in disagreement on that. But we'll get to that later. I still got a page here. So I liked Kutcher's line that love is the only shocking act left on the planet. I thought that was a good line. Then Taylor Swift shows up. She's in the elevator with Garner, wearing plaid, and she had 13 on her hand. That was cool. I thought throughout the movie her teeth seemed bigger. Like her...
Yeah, she got new teeth at some point.
Okay, I love her old teeth, though. Like, she looks like they're not buck teeth. I don't know how you describe them. They're just, like, big.
But the thing I don't understand about that is that I feel like she still has buck teeth.
Right.
It's
maybe
almost
she
like she made her teeth bigger or something. I don't know.
I don't think her teeth are bigger. Because they looked so much more dominant here. She just kind of had a more, like all shucks kind of overbite kind of thing. But I found it endearing. I thought it was cute. But I thought she was funny in this scene too. Like at the end when she's leaving, she's like, "Well, I hope you get a lot of Valentines today."
That is funny.
Yeah, you thought it was funny too. Good. So no, but just like the way she was playing that character was funny, and then like that was like a good.
I didn't think that was her best scene, but I think she was good.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. Okay, so I took a note. When the one lady hands her baby to the nun, she says, "You should know we're Jewish," which I didn't know if that was supposed to be a joke or what that was.
Okay, that was what I call a Gary Marshallism.
Okay,
which is something that is delivered as though it's a joke and reacted to as though it's something of a joke.
Right.
But not a joke at all.
Okay.
It's just a thing somebody says. It's like in Princess Diaries. Like, Princess Diaries is a movie that I actually find quite charming. But it's literally like, oh, the scene needs something. Put a boing sound in the background off screen. Like, make it seem like those nuns crashed their car off screen. It's like shit like that.
Okay.
That's a Gary Marshall joint.
Okay. So then my next note was Oh, the thing Kutcher said about Valentine's Day is kind of the premise. So then after that, we have the football player who's being introduced, and it was like just an intense blast of California cliches. He was jogging on the beach with his shirt off, and he's a big hunk. And then there's people doing yoga on the beach, and then there was a worker cleaning the pool, and then his house has that like kind of boxy architecture. Mm-hmm. So it was like for 30 seconds the movie was like, we are in California. Mm-hmm. So I found that kind of amusing. Then you got Jessica Biel on the treadmill. She's like falling over the treadmill, and it looked like she probably hurt herself doing that.
Jessica Biel was the worst part of a movie with a lot of terrible parts.
Right.
That woman is talentless. Her butt is amazing. That's it.
I gotta say though, she looks pretty good in this movie, Kit.
She's gorgeous, and like I said, her body be banging, but she's the worst actress alive. And look, I realize that also that she's also being asked to play the worst character in.
Right.
She has nothing to work with, and so to give someone with no talent nothing to work with. But like T Swift, I think had a pretty like shitty role that she made charming through the force of her charm, basically.
Right.
So, like, Taylor Swift's character is just a stereotypical blonde cheerleader chick.
Right, or she's just kind of, the way I phrased it was she's a love-privileged teen, where it's like everybody loves her, and she doesn't really understand that some people.
But she still made, which is not a likable really quality necessarily, but she made that character
very likable. Yeah. So that was cool.
Jessica Biel, not cute in this movie.
No, but I mean, a lot of that was the role, like you're saying.
But not realistic either. It's just nothing good. That character.
Right. It was supposed to be for like comedy, like hey, we've all been here, but it was just so weird and exaggerated that.
And it's just like it's like a hot lady trying to figure out how to be funny. Scream louder.
Right.
That's funny.
That's good.
Cry harder.
Eat more chocolate. Eat chocolate more fiercely.
Yeah. Pretend like you eat chocolate all day.
Right.
With that ass.
And what an ass it was. Moving on to the next note. This movie cut, like my notes are all chopped up because this movie, well, yeah, you saw it. It was like all over the damn place. It's Emma Roberts is introduced. Kristen Shaw was in it real briefly.
Oh my god, I know. Well, and that to me is a Gary Marshall thing too, where like the teenage girl who's just completely open with her apparently spinster teacher, but like there's no context for that Kristen Shaw.
Oh, I thought she was supposed to be a student.
No.
Because weren't they talking about studying or something?
She was a teacher.
Oh. I guess that makes sense.
She was a teacher being horrified by her students' honesty about sex. That was the joke in that scene. But there's no reason. We don't know anything about Emma Roberts' character that makes us go, oh, that's why she's being so open with this stuff. Her parents are hippies or whatever. Like, it was...
Well, she was the same way with the grandparents of the child that she babysits.
I know.
That was weird.
Why? I couldn't figure out her relationship to that kid or to them until late in the game.
Yeah, like almost until the last few minutes of the movie, where she like says, "I'm his babysitter."
And she has a real busy day. She's in school. She's supposed to go home on her lunch break and fuck. So that gives you like 10 minutes.
Right.
And then she's babysitting all day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a busy. Valentine's Day is a crazy day, Kit. But yeah.
I want to say the best part of this movie was Shirley MacLaine. I fucking loved her. I loved her, like, wearing her flowy capey thing to the park and in front of the old footage of herself. Oh, I loved that. That was beautiful.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. I didn't care for that character all that much, but she wasn't really in it much either.
I loved it.
Okay. Well, so going back about maybe an hour and 45 minutes in the movie from that scene, Taylor Swift says that she'll save Emma Roberts a sandwich because she wasn't sure whether or not she should eat before she had sex. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yep.
Then
It passes for a joke in this movie.
I mean, it's kind of I could see it seemed like a high schooler kind of thing. I'll save you a sandwich after. Then Julia Roberts on the plane with Bradley Cooper. My note on her psychological reading of him. Do you remember she kind of like broke his character
Yes.
down?
Oh my God.
Right. My note was she will be killed in action.
I know.
Because it was a pretty bad.
It's like whoever wrote it was not clever enough to come up with an interest.
Right.
Like, could not figure out working backwards how to come up with an interesting cycle. Like, he didn't have to do the actual reading.
Right.
He had to just, like, know everything about both characters and figure out how to make it work. And couldn't. It was so weird.
It was weird. After that, I got one of the kids said, "All us virgins are pulling for you." It was like he was like giving his friend a ride to Emma Roberts' house. I thought that was a good line. I mean, I don't think it was supposed to be funny. I just thought it was funny. I think it was maybe supposed to be funny. So then we got Anne Hathaway. This was about 40 minutes into the movie. We still have new characters appearing. Anne Hathaway is having Russian or phone sex with a Russian accent. Then we got here. So then we got Kutcher finds out that the doctor's two-time and Garner. And so my question to you, Kit, was if you were Ashton Kutcher, would you have told Jennifer Garner that her doctor boyfriend was cheating on her or was married?
I think if I knew definitively, if something like what happened to him happened to me, like the guy came in and literally admitted he was cheating to me,
right.
Yes, I would.
You would, okay.
If I just thought probably he was, maybe I wouldn't. But
right.
if I knew definitively, because then it's like, because then imagine if you don't, and then she finds out and she's like, can you believe that? And then you either have to lie or be like, yeah, I literally knew for sure he was cheating, his wife's name, where she lived, like, all of that. And I just didn't tell you. Right.
Yeah, I think I would also say something, mostly because if a friend of mine didn't tell me something like that, I would distrust the friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, seems like you would. But that was just one of my many discussion questions.
It didn't seem like a big... You know what I also hate? Like, that trope in movies that lots of movies do, where, like, you specifically seek someone out because you have to tell them something. And, like, you like, I gotta go to his work right now or whatever.
Right.
And so Ashton Kutcher goes to Jennifer Garner's work, interrupts her class, and
right.
pulls her out in the hallway to tell her one very important thing, and somehow gets out of there without having said, your boyfriend's cheating on you.
Right. Well, and that part of that too, it's kind of I remember this as a kid, seeing this on Full House all the time. But he's like, hey, you know that boyfriend? And she's like, yeah, he's the best in the whole world. I just love him. I'd be heartbroken if I ever heard that he had a wife. What did you want to tell me? I like that. I think that's a good cliche, a good trope. I don't know which it would be, but yeah, so that kind of happens there. But yeah, you think he could have mentioned it, even though the children were rioting. So it seemed implausible to me. The only thing in this movie that seemed like a bit of a stretch was that the airline guy gave Ashton Kutcher a free ticket so he could go tell Jennifer Garner. I don't think that would happen.
No.
What's that?
No way.
Yeah. I don't see that happening. But everything else was pretty, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then we got Taylor Swift's dance moves. I thought that was good. And I really thought the Spitwad story was funny.
What was that again?
She's like, he's like, well, tell us how you two started dating. And she's like, well, he always used to shoot spitwads at me. But then one day I like pulled one out of my hair and uncrumpled it, and it said like that he liked me. And I was like, that is so cute. And then I liked him. I thought that was good. But I also thought that was maybe more of like an elementary school type of way you would meet somebody.
That's
less so with high school.
Mike, what the fuck are you talking about?
What am I talking about?
Yeah, that's so stupid.
I mean, it's funny, but it's definitely
school?
That's what I'm saying. It's a funny premise, but it doesn't make sense for high schoolers. It makes more sense for like a fourth grader.
Also, I think this movie is pretty racist.
Well, we'll get to that. Let's go
Okay.
through all my notes, and then we'll kind of
Okay.
do the sexism and racism business.
Okay.
So the newscaster, when they're making out, he's like, "Ooh, I miss high school," and I thought that was pretty creepy. Like,
Yep.
just particularly the way he said it. So that was good. So then we got another one of my favorite cliches was when the upset child ran up the stairs. I like that. It's like the depressed kid is like, nobody understands me, and he runs
Is
upstairs.
it the little kid?
Yeah, the little kid.
He was awful.
Yeah, he was bad. He was pretty. Most of the time, if a child is in a movie, it's bad. So nothing against him.
But no, but he was bad for a child actor for sure.
I mean, he was. It's true. But again, though, he was trying to do that kind of romantic comedy, like precocious child, which is probably nearly impossible
I don't
for a
think
child.
he was smart. I wish they would let a child be really dumb in a movie.
I kind of do too. Like, particularly this type of movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but yeah, I guess I don't know. Anyways, so then we find out that Grandma cheated on Grandpa. Then we find out that the football player is gay. Then Jennifer Garner comes back to Los Angeles implausibly fast. I said everything else in this movie makes perfect sense, but whoever wrote this has no familiarity with airplanes or airlines.
But see, Mike, I was really confused.
Uh-huh.
Because I thought maybe she... Yeah, because it treats air travel like you can start in the afternoon, and I realize San Francisco and LA are very close.
Right.
But you can start flying in the afternoon and be back in Los Angeles and it's still daylight. I don't think that would happen.
Right. She flew, so school got out, which I would assume at like 3, or maybe at the
Let's
earliest.
even call it 2.
Sure. So then she gets to the airport. Then she gets through security. She flies to San Francisco. She has enough time to get out of the airport, go to the hospital, find out that the doctor's not there, go back to the airport, fly home, and then she gets there in time for dinner. So I guess it's possible if school got out at 2, but between 3 and like 6:30, that seems like a whole, because I think doesn't it take like 45 minutes or an hour to fly from LA to San Francisco?
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, it's like if she just hopped straight on the plane and went back and forth.
I would say more like an hour and a half.
Okay. See, yeah, and I couldn't remember. I know it's like
Spokane or like Seattle to Portland is a 3-hour drive and like a 40-minute, takeoff to landing flight, maybe. And San Francisco's like 6 hours from Los Angeles.
Okay. So yeah, it would take then like probably at least maybe an hour, at least.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that was a little. Again, like I said, everything else it was like
I was really confused. I wasn't convinced that she ever left L.A.
Because she had to because she went to the hospital in San Francisco.
But see, I thought she went to his hospital in L.A.
She got on the plane. We see her on the plane.
We do?
I'm pretty sure.
See, I thought we didn't. I thought maybe the movie was suggesting that she kind of listened to Ashton.
Maybe she got on the plane but then got off. Because she's sitting on the plane, and I think, if I remember right, she's like on the plane and she looks concerned. But we don't see the plane
and so
take
she
off.
might be changing her mind. I thought maybe she got off the plane and went to his regular hospital that he worked at and was like, does he have a wife? And those ladies tell him. But I don't know. I just was like, there's no way she flew to San Francisco and then is back for dinner time.
Okay, well that makes sense then. So I guess that was my mistake. That wasn't a movie mistake.
But I don't know. I don't know what the movie is saying.
Right, and I think they kind of cut it so that it was supposed to be like we thought she was going to San Francisco, so we never definitively saw whether she flew or not. But for some reason, I thought the hospital she went to, she was expecting him to be there like in surgery, and so she went to the desk and was like, is this doctor here? And they were like, no, he's not. But I don't know. Okay. So after this, we've got Anne Hathaway with Topher Grace. They're having dinner, and then she has to go take the phone call.
How do you feel about Anne Hathaway, just out of curiosity?
In this movie?
In anything.
I don't really... she seems all right. Like, I think I've seen her. I saw her in the Batman movie.
She was the best part of that movie.
You think so?
I thought Catwoman was the only part of that movie that was like cool.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that movie. I remember thinking it was better than The Dark Knight, but I also remember thinking The Dark Knight was
crazy.
Dark Knight was a lot more fun, but it didn't like Dark Knight Rises made a little more sense than The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight Rises made just as much sense as The Dark Knight and was way stupider.
Okay. Well,
that movie sucked balls.
I mean, right.
That's like the biggest. Ugh, fuck that movie.
I'm not a big Dark Knight fan either.
Here's my thing with Anne Hathaway.
Okay.
I don't love her. I mean, she's beautiful. She's one of those people who's almost too beautiful. Where like
yeah, I don't think that. I think because you're talking like how like we've talked about like Megan Fox is like too perfect.
I don't think that.
We've talked about that before. We talked about that at that Chinese restaurant in Clackamas.
Okay.
All those many years ago. It was like I was saying how like everybody was all big on Megan Fox, and I just didn't find her attractive at all because it was like there was like something like artificial about her look, like just in that it's like designed, like it was like she was designed to look perfect, but that there was nothing actually sexy about.
Exactly. There's nothing like Anne Hathaway is technically one of the most perfect looking women ever to have lived, I think.
Okay, and I don't think so. I find her to be right, like straddling the fence between like very, very pretty and then like almost like weird looking. Like there's some, not like deformed, but just like...
I just think she has big eyes, big beautiful lips, perfect nose, small, great hair, big boobs. Like, I see what you mean. Like she's almost clown-like in how big her mouth is and stuff.
Right.
But like, to me, she's too perfect, but she has nothing wrong with her that like makes her sexy.
Right.
But that's not really my point. Is when she's acting, like I believe everybody that she's a good actress. And like Andrew says, she's amazing in Rachel Getting Married, and like I believe like okay, fine, her perform. But every time she's acting, I see her acting.
Right.
She's almost like a child performer. To me, that's how I view her. It's just like, I see the acting happening, and I might be able to go, like, if it's a kid, I might be able to go, God, that kid's really giving it his all. But, like, with her, it's just like, that's Anne Hathaway acting. It's the same thing I get with Julia Roberts. Like, I never forget that that's Julia Roberts pretending to be this person.
Right. Okay, yeah, I can see that. She does kind of have, like, a...
There's something very precocious about her delivery in everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
I never lose her.
In this, there was no point where I was just like she seems like it was definitely. But I mean, that was the way with almost everybody in this movie.
But I thought she was somewhat charming in it. Like
sort of, yeah. Like she seemed pretty cool
in the old Princess Diaries way.
Okay, I never saw that.
I can't believe I haven't seen that movie.
So from here, are you joking or are you serious?
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
I think you would love that movie.
Princess Diaries?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out. You're just trying to get me in trouble.
No.
I'm going to have to go to the library in front of all my coworkers and check out the Princess Diaries, and they're going to start talking. So after this, we have Jessica Biel's Valentine's Hate Party. Then we have the grandparents reuniting in the cemetery. And I thought, this was my problem with that Shirley MacLaine's character. She said, I thought it was weird for her to say, if you love someone, you have to like their flaws. Like, she should have let him come to that conclusion and say that. She shouldn't have been like, hey, I cheated on you, but if you really love me, you have to love that flaw of mine, like that I cheat on you. So that was a problem. Overall, though, they were like in the movie for 3 minutes, so whatever. Mm-hmm. After this, we got the kid puts the moves on Jennifer Garner, which surprised us all. We thought it was going to be the girl at the restaurant, like the little girl.
Yeah, but if she was your teacher, come on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't blame him. Although I thought it was weird that they were like making him like because his mom. Because at this point, we still thought his mom was dead, unless we had guessed that it was going to be Julia Roberts was his mom. We thought his mom was dead. We didn't know that it was going to be Julia Roberts coming to visit him. But I thought it was kind of weird that they were like drawing that into like that's why he's attracted to older women, like Jennifer Garner. Because he said something like, I don't usually go for girls my own age, but it was like we were supposed to think that was because his mom had died. That's kind of weird.
What?
Cool. You don't remember that? It's when he's at the bar, and she's like, you should...
But is that supposed to be because his mom's dead? Why?
Like, I thought that's what they were kind of trying to draw it out to be. Like, he... I mean, I guess maybe there was no relation, but it would be like, that was like... They were trying to establish, like, why he would hit on Jennifer Garner.
I don't know.
I thought so. Maybe not. Because then she's like, no, you should date someone your own age. And he's like, I don't usually go for girls my own age. But I guess it could have just been unrelated to his...
It's just a little precocious joke.
I guess so. Anyways, and he also said that girl was the only other fifth grader that had Frank Zappa on her iPod.
Yeah.
Which, no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that didn't work. But then we got Today Was a Fairy Tale montage. Where
Another pet peeve I still don't like. I love that song, but...
Not the montage?
No, there's an actor in the movie singing that song. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, right.
It ruins the realism of the film.
So within this montage, the virgins decide to wait, and then Taylor and Taylor make out in an elevator, and then we find out that Bradley Cooper is also gay. And then Topher Grace makes good with Anne Hathaway, and then Jennifer Garner and Ashton Kutcher finally get together. And then Jessica Biel and Jamie Foxx get together, and then we find out that Julia Roberts is the kid's mom, and so everything worked out great. So that was the end of my notes.
Right.
Did you have anything on this one?
So you didn't find this movie to be a little bit racist?
I mean, I could certainly see that argument being made, but there was
based on what?
Well, Ashton Kutcher at the flower shop / cafe that he owns, he had like a little, I don't even know kind of what race he would say he was. He had a small brown friend with a funny voice who just kind of was like comedic relief. So that could be construed as racist.
Also the gay guy.
What did the gay guy do?
Not the football player, but there was like a stereotypical ridiculous gay caricature in the flower shop.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of remember that. So why did you think the movie was racist? Because there were like almost no minorities in it?
No. To me, the most surprising moment that was apparently so racist that I didn't even think it was possible and didn't even realize it was happening. But do you know what's going on in the Indian restaurant where the party is, the I Hate Valentine's Day party is happening?
A wedding?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
What kind of wedding?
An Indian wedding?
That's an arranged marriage.
Oh, okay.
I was watching with Lee.
Wait, why is that racist?
I don't know. Don't you think it's kind of odd that, like, in this movie, which is about how much fun white people have on Valentine's Day,
there's, well, it's a Western holiday. It's not a.
But I think it was deliberately a contrast being set up. Well, they're Americans, so I think it was a contrast being set up between. Look at Jessica. This is all I can make sense of it. For one, that's why I'm asking: is it racist?
Okay.
I feel like it is because they
why do you feel like that?
Well, they keep showing like shots of the woman getting married.
Okay. Looking
really bummed. And I kept saying, and I said to Lee at one point, I was like, why does she look so upset? Does she not like him? And he's like, it's an arranged marriage. And I'm like, what the fuck? So they're showing this bride looking miserable in this, which I think is in its, what?
Well, I thought they were all upset because the Valentine's Day party, the I Hate Valentine's Day party was making such a racket.
No, because everybody else was having fun. The husband of that woman was always happy. It's just her looking upset. And so it's an arranged marriage, according to Lee, and I think he's right, because it's the only way all these shots of her make sense.
I wouldn't say that's racist, as much as it's potentially culturally insensitive.
Right,
because it's not a racial thing.
Well, I think it's a little bit like. Also, I got the impression, and I could be wrong. This could be me being racist, but that they were getting married at that restaurant because it was sort of their restaurant.
Oh, like they owned it?
Yeah. In which case, it's like, to me, that suggests that first of all Indian people are this kind of Indian person, which I don't think makes sense. I don't think the super conservative, traditional, like, arranged marriage type of Indian immigrant is the same as, like, the family of the little girl that the kid ends up having a crush on. Like, it just seemed like this is all the same when really this is all the same in that this is what Indian people do, as opposed to, like, here's different types of immigrant experiences. Not that this movie is going to do that, but I also thought, so when Lee said that, I'm like, why are they depicting this, and why is she looking longingly at the I Hate Valentine's Day party? And I think one is, like, a humorous idea that, like, she hates love, too, because she's being forced to marry somebody. But I also think it was, like, Jessica Biel's being a real bitch because this poor brown lady has to marry someone against her will.
Okay.
And Jessica Biel's bitching about not having a date on Valentine's Day.
Right.
And then just, like, the fact that, like, at the end of the movie, all the white characters and all the brown characters are, like, dancing together, like, enjoying the wedding of this woman's life being ruined. It just seemed, like, very strange. Like, I don't know what the messaging was supposed to be. I think it was certainly pity this brown girl. Because I thought maybe one interesting take, like, they had, like, the old couple who, like, they've been together for 50 years and he finds out she cheated on him 50 years ago or whatever.
Right.
And that was kind of like here's an unusual kind of story, but, like, something grounded in reality that could happen. And it's like here's a different side of love. And I almost feel like you could be like, not that this would be the only way to go with it, but, like, if you were like, here's an arranged marriage that worked out great. Because that's what so many, I mean, like, people, there are, like, you know, Indian celebrities in America who, like, have the opportunity to talk about their background and say, like, my parents were married in an arranged marriage and, like, they're still together and they love each other. So it's not like, it's like the depiction of an arranged marriage as automatically torture, kind of, for the poor lady.
Okay.
It just seemed very confusing and, like, almost like, well, why not take that opportunity to, like, explore, like, what's this side of love like, as opposed to just using it, I guess, as contrast for the white characters, and then also just, like, it'd be cool to see, like, Jessica Biel and dancing to this kind of music.
Right.
I don't know. It was just like, I was like, why would you even bother to bring that up if you're not gonna, like, comment on it at all or tell me? It was very weird.
That is strange. I had interpreted... See, first off, I thought that most of the wedding party was, like, upset at the... What are you eating?
What am I eating?
Yeah.
Pita.
It's, like, super crinkly.
Oh, this is foil.
That's all good. Nobody listens. So I had interpreted that, like, the whole wedding party was upset about this other party. I didn't I thought when they showed her being upset, I thought she was upset that her wedding was being interrupted or kind of ruined by, or, you know, her reception, I guess, her party was being, you know, there was all these, like, people being loud and, like, hitting piñatas and...
Well, see, that's what I thought at first.
Right. I didn't think...
But then I noticed she was the only one who seemed upset. Like, right. I mean, if they were getting weird looks from that party, but, like, the husband's, like, smiling and doing something, and she's, like, turned away from him, staring sadly at the Jessica Biel party.
Okay.
And this was also happening before people started showing up.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that. Very interesting, though.
So if it's not an arranged marriage, then I guess Lee's a racist, but the movie also... I don't know what the fuck it is then, if that's not it.
Right. So I guess we've figured out that Gary Marshall is secretly racist.
Well, and it kind of made sense in that why would this woman be getting married? Why would they be having the wedding in a restaurant that's also hosting another party? Unless it's like just a perfunctory wedding. Do you know what I mean?
Wait, what does perfunctory mean?
Like, it's just like of necessity.
Perfunctory, okay. Right, yeah, like they didn't have like it was a pretty small wedding party.
It's just like, let's get you married, is what it seemed like.
Alright. So what other racism did we find?
There was something, I didn't take a note, but there was some George Lopez moments that I was like, come on, man. Like,
right.
Oh, well, what about the, like, hey, I say let's go to my neighborhood and get, let's get a hybrid, and it's like the hoopty, you know?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that's racist. I don't know. Sometimes I think there's...
It's certainly a stereotype.
Right.
Being trotted out as though it's inherently hilarious. That, like...
But, I mean, I think the part that was supposed to be funny was more that, like... It was... What did Ashton Kutcher had to drive that car then? Wasn't
I guess.
it? So, yeah. But I don't know. Like, I hear you. I think that's an argument people make a lot with, like, comedy that has any sort of racial element. But I also think that it's kind of like, well, like for a lot of, I don't know, Mexican-American immigrants or whatever, like that is sort of, like that is a cultural thing. So...
Right, but I think my point is, it becomes racist in the context of such a, almost through laziness. That because this movie, and Gary Marshall movies in general, think that just showing you something crazy is a joke. You know?
Right.
So, like, showing a nun on a trolley is inherently funny to Gary Marshall because nuns wear weird costumes.
Right.
And that becomes something of a problem when you're talking about Indian people.
Right.
Or a Mexican neighborhood, you know? Like...
Right. So again, though, I think we're maybe coming less to racism than we are just to cultural insensitivity. Would that be fair enough, you think? He's just maybe kind of ignorant of... He's not appreciative of other cultures, and he kind of is...
I think it's right up to the border of racism to be like, I don't know, just to use... I think it's up to... And I don't see... I think we have different ideas of racism. I think you want to avoid the word racism because of your particular bugaboos about our PC culture, which I understand. My response to the PC culture is to be like, well, I'm a huge racist. Everyone's a huge racist. Let's just talk about, like, what's, like, I think saying something is racist is not the same as saying how stunningly horrible. I would never. Like, I don't mean that, like, it's unusual or, like, outrageous or even offensive. It's just, like, that's racist to me.
Right.
To just, like, use a stereotypical prop as an inherent joke because it looks weird compared to a particular culture.
Right.
Like, the central culture of this movie is, like, I guess just, like, white Los Angelinos.
Right.
And so it's, like, even though Los Angeles is, like, potentially more Hispanics than white people, like, the weird thing is like, where George Lopez lives. You know?
Right. Or just the car and stuff.
Yeah. Or Spanish itself is inherently funny. It's like, oh, yeah, it's like in the same way as, like, Ricky Ricardo's going into Spanish was funny.
Uh-huh. I don't know if they make fun of the language, though, because they, Ashton Kutcher, when they're up on the bridge there, at the end, when he's upset, he starts yelling at George Lopez in Spanish, and I don't think it was supposed to be a joke, but maybe it was. I think there was a lot in this movie that was supposed to be a joke, but I didn't.
Right, exactly, which is why it's hard to even figure out if it's racist.
Right. So, but yeah. All right, did you have anything else about Valentine's Day? After this, we got the Lorax, New Girl, and the Giver, so let's... Maybe...
All right, fine, move on.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting hungry here. Plus, that pita you're eating sounds tasty. So the Lorax. Do you want to go on this one? Do you want to?
Well, so did you watch the movie?
I watched the whole movie.
I did not. I couldn't find it.
Okay.
So I watched a bunch of clips online of her character and of, like, featurettes of her talking about the character.
Okay, I didn't watch any featurettes. I should have
I
watched
have to say
featurettes.
this movie looks horrible.
Like, just visually?
No, all of it.
All of it. Okay,
Like-
well, one of my notes was visually how unappealing this movie is.
It looked like when I was watching the featurettes and the clips and stuff, I was just like none of the voices, I think she has a perfectly cute voice.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, Zac Efron is the lead voice.
Right.
And he's playing a little kid. But the little kid sounds like, at the youngest, like a 17-year-old. Instead of, like, a cute little boy voice,
Right.
it's like a grown man's voice coming out of a child. So it just seemed like, and all the dialogue that I saw, like, was horrible. Everything about it just seemed very, very amateurish.
Yeah, I was pretty hard on this movie. I think because I watched the full thing, and whenever I watch a movie like this, I tend to get kind of bored, and then I just kind of go into overdrive, like analyzing it. But yeah, like, I guess if you didn't see the full thing, I don't know. I guess I could just pitch out what I noted here. Okay, so judging from the humor, this seems like it was made for like a young audience. I don't remember if it was rated G or not, but it was definitely like for like probably like 8 and under, like in terms of the jokes. Which to me, there have been a handful of movies like this, particularly lately, but I mean even when I was a kid. But when you're aiming for an audience that young, and then you have these really heavy-handed environmental messages,
Yeah.
it seems really, like, the word I used for it was just gross. Like, it just seems like I don't even disagree with kind of their simplified critique of consumption, but it just seems like they're trying to brainwash kids.
Exactly,
so that they don't.
yeah.
And on top of that, it was just like, and I remember I read the book when I was younger, and Dr. Seuss, like a lot of his, I would say most of his books have kind of a political
And the Lorax is
point.
very dark.
Right. I don't even remember the book. I mean, I guess maybe if it parallels the movie. Yeah. So,
I remember reading it as a kid and being like, this is sad as
Yeah.
shit.
But yeah, so it seems like brainwashing. And then
But
when
I
I was
also
a kid,
think, like, in the Dr. Seuss book, and I don't know what the movie does, in the Dr. Seuss book, humans are, like, the thing that I think saves the Dr. Seuss book from being, like, too politically heavy-handed is that it's basically saying that, like, humans are morons.
right,
Like, humans just, like, all they do is fuck shit up.
right.
And kids are kind of, I don't know, like, more hope for the world because they're not adults yet. But, like, humans are not the heroes. And I feel like in this movie, I'm guessing humans are heroes at some
Sort
point.
of. I mean, the way it ends is like, so there's okay, yeah, and I don't remember the book well enough to really compare them. But the plot of the movie is there's this guy named O'Hare, and he sells bottled air, and they live in an entire enclosed city. I think it's called Needville, and everything outside the city is too polluted and destroyed. And then, you know, like their world is entirely synthetic. And so this boy so the main character, he meets a girl, and like
Who
he's in love with her.
remembers trees.
Right, yeah, she remember. Or, yeah, I don't even know. I mean, it seems like
She
she wouldn't.
invents trees or something.
It's like, yeah, she's heard of them or something, and she's really enamored by them, and so he goes off on a quest to get a tree to bring to her, like a real tree, and so he has to go outside the town into this wasteland where the Onceler tells him how things got to be so terrible, and it was the Onceler started like
Who does the voice of the Onceler?
Ed Helms.
That's such a weird choice.
It was weird. It was, yeah, he wasn't. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was weird hearing his voice with that. So the Onceler explains how when he was younger, he started up this manufacturing business making needs, and he tore down all the trees to do it, and that's why everything became a wasteland, and everybody moved into this little enclosed place. And so he gives the seed to the boy, and the boy takes it back to the town, and they're trying to plant it, but O'Hare sees, you know, because trees produce oxygen, so he sees this as a threat to his business, and he tries to turn the town against the kid, and everybody's against him, and then the kid says, no, this tree is good for the environment, and then they tear down part of the wall and they see how bad it is, and all the people are like, oh, okay, like, plant the tree. And then O'Hare, like, I don't remember what happens to him, but they basically are like, forget about this O'Hare guy, he's like the most powerful man in town, but whatever. So that's the general, that's what happens in the movie. And so basically what you got going is you have kind of twofold environmental allegories. You've got bottled water and bottled air kind of being paralleled, where water is free, but because of pollution and all of this type of business, we want bottles of purified water, and we'll have all this plastic pollution because of this. So that they kind of parallel that with bottled air in the movie. But I think, okay, sorry, I did the thing again where I don't write notes, I just start writing a paragraph.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll read that. So on the bottled water front, I like the point that consumerism breeds dependency and willing victims, but I felt that this dilemma was better addressed in Pasolini's Salo, which is his 120 Days of Sodom adaptation.
Oh yeah, that kid's movie.
Right. And like I said, though, my brain just, like, because I was so bored by this movie, my brain just kind of started doing this. But hear me out, and I think that that's like a ridiculous comparison, but this is why. So in the movie, once they're informed that trees are good and they're shown that their consumption is harming the environment, all of the townspeople agree to change their ways. And this is where the already lame film kind of breaks down, because its erasure of dissent is both anti-democratic and pure environmentalist fantasy. This exposes the film's deep, deluded indulgence. If only the people knew, they would agree with me. So it's weak filmmaking, whereas in something like Salo, we watch the fascist victims like degraded and abused, and we're forced to ask, like, why don't they revolt? Like, they outnumber their captors, why don't they revolt? And to search for an answer to this question, we have to ponder like our own complicity with the powerful. And so like a film like Salo is a thoughtful provocation. A film like The Lorax is a useless, probably counterproductive piece of propaganda.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It just kind of breeds like hopelessness. Like no kid watching this is really going to become a radical environmentalist and save the world. Like, they're just going to feel really guilty about their consumption and feel like, disaster is inevitable. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes people feel shitty.
Yeah.
There's ways to address environmental issues in film or art that are productive and, would get people there, but you can't kind of like force it on them, I guess.
It's basically, I mean, it's just like, it's a fairy tale in a fairy tale.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like it's, yeah. That's much more concise. But,
no,
yeah.
I like that point. I think that's a really good way to define propaganda.
Yeah.
As just like trying to convince somebody that you're right, as opposed to trying to get somebody to think about an issue. Right.
Part of the problem with that is like that's why you don't make a political film for 5-year-olds. Like.
Well, and I think the Lorax, the book, is satirical, not satirical of environmentalists, but satirical of Earth, of the world. From what I remember, it's not just like, look how we've destroyed Earth, children, we must fix it. Like, the Lorax is an angry fucker,
Right.
Like, he condemns humanity, basically. But in a somewhat humorous way. I think that book, I remember that book being slightly more satirical. More of a, like, here's a metaphor for environmentalism.
Okay.
As opposed to here's straight up how to, I mean, it certainly has an agenda, that book, but it's more artfully composed, perhaps, than this movie is.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I remember of Dr. Seuss's other work, like, he does a good job of, you tell an entertaining story, you tell it in a fun way, and the political point doesn't overwhelm, because it's maybe, it's a 20-page book, it's a lot easier to kind of keep it from just being like preaching kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and I really didn't like The Giver when I read it, but that book presents kids and teens with a dilemma, with something to think about, like you're saying, something they can put themselves in and go, what would I do in this situation, and why would this decision be really hard to make?
Uh-huh.
As opposed to just, well, yeah, if I knew that drinking bottled water was destroying the planet, I'd stop.
Right.
So.
Okay, cool.
My notes about this movie are mostly about the featurette stuff.
Okay.
Other than that, it looked terrible, and I was right. So, for what I thought you would like this, I watched this junket interview with her, like, for this movie, and the interviewer goes, when you're in the studio recording dialogue for the movie, is that any different from being in the studio recording a song? And she answers, yeah, it's a lot different. Which I was like, what a fucking stupid question. Also, she does not pick movies very well. Oh, and my final note for the Lorax is that the production company's YouTube channel doesn't even get the name of her character right.
What do they call her?
They call her Aubrey.
Aubrey.
So, there you go.
That's not a good sign.
That's the level of professionalism for this movie.
Too bad. But yeah, I guess, in terms of my Taylor notes on it, she was only in it for like 10 minutes. And it's kind of a musical. Like, there's several musical numbers.
And she doesn't sing?
No, she never sings. Not even in the final one where she's present. She does not sing.
Maybe she had like one day.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it could have been about like 1 or 2 days. I don't know how long it takes to record voice, for an animated film, but she was not in it much. So yeah, my only Taylor notes was that it could have used more Taylor, and also that had they put more Taylor in it, they could have had her character like go with Efron's character.
That's what I assumed would happen. Right,
to see the Once-ler, but that didn't happen, and so she was kind of just this. She was like the object of his affection. She was not really a character at any point.
Well, great.
Yeah. So moving on. Are we moving on?
Yes.
Moving on. The 2013 New Girl episode, Elaine's Big Day. Did you watch this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen every episode of New Girl, and I did not remember her being in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at all. So, watching the episode, I'm like, I have no idea who Taylor Swift's gonna be.
Nice.
And I'm like watching the whole episode. She's at the very end, and I'm like, where the hell is Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Like, but I did think it was funny because I guess the point was the writer wanted to imagine like who would be like the perfect woman, so that this guy would get like a happy ending because he's basically getting fucked. You know,
Right.
Like, who's the perfect woman for him to run off with?
Yeah.
And then the line "Take me away from this madness" is pretty good.
Yeah. Wait, who says Taylor Swift?
Taylor
says that?
does, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was good. I watched this when it was on, and I watched it with my dad. Actually, it was on the DVR, and he was just in there, and so I watched it with him. And I don't know, I would not recommend anybody watch an episode of The New Girl with my dad. It's not very fun.
Why?
It's just such a this is a I mean, maybe his adult male son, watching this episode was particularly hard, but he wasn't really mean about it, but he was just like, God, this show is stupid. Like, he'll do that a lot, where, like, if I was watching a movie when I was a kid or a TV show, he would come in and watch, like, a minute of it and be like, why do you watch this shit? This is terrible. So, and he's a nice dude. Like, he doesn't mean it, like, in a bad way. He doesn't mean it in a personally mean way. But it's just kind of like, he has a low tolerance for entertainment that he doesn't like. So watching this with him was kind of uncomfortable, and then I just turned it off after it seemed like Taylor Swift was gone. But T Swift did a good job, so that was good. Moving on to The Giver, 2014.
Yeah.
Our last thing. I only watched the one clip on the internet that you sent me that was her at the piano. I don't know if she's in it.
I think that's her only scene.
Okay, but I haven't seen the movie, so just from the clip.
Fuck no.
My only note was, it sounds like she's performing the theme from Investigation of a Citizen Above Suspicion, which is an old Italian movie from the 70s.
Okay.
That was all I got.
Great.
What you got?
Again with the brown hair.
Right, yeah, she's brunette. I was going to say, I know that like you've had a lot of, I think the biggest obstacle for you in becoming a Swiftie has been, you feel like she antagonizes brunettes. Either directly or just kind of by existing as a blonde. But did seeing her as a brunette in some of these roles like kind of soften? Like, did that kind of help?
No, because it's the same old thing of like, how can I look like an average dowdy person?
Right.
Brown hair. Put a brown wig on my head.
Right.
Which I understand. I understand because it's like, we need to make Taylor Swift not, like, and plus, I think her hair, although not these days, I mean, she's changed it, but I think her curly hair was sort of iconic, in a way.
Right.
Like, her big curly blonde hair that she'd shake around a lot.
Yeah.
Was like pretty signature.
I remember that.
And so you have to, maybe people who are putting her in films feel like we have to get rid of this, or everyone will just be like, this is Taylor Swift.
Right.
But I don't know. I just think brown hair is just a shortcut to, like, I have to look average because I can't act like a character. I have to just look like.
Okay, so you're still kind of having
say the lines.
Okay, you're still having trouble kind of getting over that hump. Sounds like.
I just think it looks. And I'm a big, you know me and wigs.
Right.
It's like, it's got to be a good wig. That was a shitty wig.
Wait, in The Giver or just?
In The Giver.
Yeah.
In The Giver and CSI. CSI one might have been better.
Better wig,
but,
yeah. I mean, this definitely does not look like her hair.
No.
In The Giver.
Some horse's hair.
Some horse hair.
Some Indian lady's hair. But also, I don't get what this I don't remember this book very well. But it says like the character is supposed to not have emotions. Like
I don't know. I haven't read the book.
The role of she's the receiver, which is real creepy when you're talking about Jeff Bridges is the giver and she's the receiver. I don't remember what the fucking theology of the book is, but the story is about, I mean, in this world, people don't have emotions.
Okay.
And the protagonist is different because he wants or does have emotion or something like that. And the movie suggests that Taylor's, or the plot summaries I was reading suggest that Taylor's character decided she wanted to experience emotion, and either that killed her, or she was banished, or they killed her for that, or something. But what I'm trying to figure out is, I think in the scene we're watching, her character is supposed to not have any emotion.
Okay.
But she's laughing and stuff, which seems like it would count as an emotion.
Yeah. Well, she
like, if you were emotionless, you wouldn't be happy.
Right, and also if you're emotionless, you wouldn't kill people who wanted emotions, and you wouldn't also not be able to want an emotion. Well,
the whole thing, I think, is like, it's like a fascist society, if I remember correctly.
Right, okay.
So I don't know, but
okay.
I thought it looked really fucking stupid. Surprise, surprise.
The movie?
Yeah, I thought that scene looked fucking lame. I don't...
Right.
The Jeff Bridges, I don't know, it looks like Jeff Bridges from Tron stepping in.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't know. Movies suck.
I agree. I think movies are pretty terrible.
Andrew's gonna hear this and a single tear is gonna roll down his cheek.
Nobody listens to this kid. But, alright, well, that's all I got. Is that all you got?
Yeah.
Alright, well, Kit, this has been Shootin' the Swift Goes to Hollywood. It was a rollicking, fun episode.
What are we doing next week?
Oh, God. What are we doing next week?
I guess our top 40 experiment?
Yeah, that'll be episode 12.
And then episode 13 will be 1989.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
So we're going to do it then.
We're going to do what?
We're going to do it. We're going to review 1989, like, right after it comes out.
No.
Oh, my God.
Kit.
What is the point of a Taylor Swift podcast that doesn't review her brand new album quickly?
We just can't do it right away. Okay, first off, nobody is demanding that this... We have no listeners. So
but on principle, it's like...
The only person who wants it to do it immediately is you.
That's like if there was a Royal Baby Watch podcast, and then the baby was born, and they were like, "Well, let's wait."
Right, but the reason we want to wait is we want to savor it, and I want to.
Stop saying we. I can form an opinion.
I want to savor it
very quickly.
I want to savor it, and I want to process it emotionally and spiritually before I process it intellectually.
But it comes out. What day does it come out?
October 29th. No, October 27th.
Okay, so it comes out October 27th.
Uh-huh.
That's before you come to Chicago.
Right.
That's several days before.
Right.
Plus, are you driving or taking a train? Either way, you could listen to this album 10 times.
Right.
Probably, before you get here.
Right.
You could meditate and listen to it. You could masturbate and listen to it. You can do everything you need to do to get spiritually ready to talk about this album in the 5 days before I see you.
Okay, well, let's do this. We're going to do episode 12. That'll be the top 40, kind of like a bonus episode, kind of like putting Taylor Swift in context. Then we're going to have a Halloween special when I get to Chicago. Maybe we can mix in our initial impressions of 1989 into the Halloween special.
Okay, I will be giving my full impressions of 1989 in the Halloween special.
Well, then I won't be doing the episode, Kit.
I really disagree with this approach.
Why? I'm just saying, give me 2 weeks with it.
We can do 2 episodes on 1989. I'm fine with that. But we're reviewing the episode the week it comes out. Or reviewing the album the week it comes out. We have to. That's our duty. But I'll talk about it with you again.
Right.
If you listen to it and go, oh, I'm horrified by what I've said, and I completely disagree now. Right.
That's... Okay, another thing, though, is Sydney and August are going to be there in your apartment when we're trying to do this show.
Yeah?
So that's going to be lame. Like, that's
Why?
the worst. Because Sydney is the worst possible audience for our podcast.
Why?
Like, because she'll sit there and she'll judge me harshly. I don't like that. I don't
we can
need that.
invite her to participate.
Yeah. She kind of likes T-Swift, doesn't she? Does she
I
like
don't know. We can ask.
She probably doesn't.
We can just set up Lee's mic in the middle of the room. Go about our business, have our Halloween special, and chat about the album together.
I don't know. I just feel I feel like that would be.
You know what we could do, Mike?
What?
We could even do it like we did Fearless, where I won't listen to it until you get there, and we'll just listen to it all together.
I definitely don't want to do that. Because I mean that took like 5 hours, and I also think that was our slowest, like most boring episode.
It was a good album.
It was a good album.
So that makes for a boring episode.
That's true.
Of this particular podcast.
Right. That's true. I don't know. I just don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to rush. Like, I don't want to go through the album thoroughly until... Don't you like to do that, though? When you get something new, you, like, take your time with it and kind of, like feel it out. Like, I'm not, like, a binge watcher with TV, either. Does this make any sense? Right, you are.
I think I see what you mean now, is that you don't want to have to consume the album quickly in order to be prepared for the podcast.
Exactly.
You want to savor the album.
Exactly, you hear me.
But I'm fine with you doing your initial impressions. I'm just saying my opinions, the same way you're saying, like, you like to savor things, I form hard opinions quickly.
Oh, I know.
And, like, they could change slightly by the next time we talk.
Right.
But if we talk about 1989 at all on that episode, and I think one of the songs on it is a pile of garbage, that's what I'm going to talk about.
Right. Well.
Sound like Butters.
Okay. I will be totally cool with let's skip the Halloween special idea, but before Sydney and August get there, because I think I'm there at least that night that I first get there. They won't be in yet.
When do you get there?
Wednesday.
Oh, they're coming on Thursday.
Okay, so before Sydney and August arrive, let's sit down and talk for like seriously, like 30 to 45 minutes about the album. So for this, let's do. Cause see, that's the problem though, is I don't want to go over 13 episodes because I feel like 13 would be such a fun place to finish it.
No, but this podcast is continuing forever, I thought.
How are we gonna? I thought we were gonna do like a season 2 where we talk about like James Cameron or.
Yeah, but it's still gonna be Shootin the Swift.
You can't still call it Shootin the Swift.
No, you said we could.
Oh,
I said, yeah. I probably still have the text where I said, you were like, I want to keep doing the podcast, but I don't know what to do it about. And I said, I'll keep doing it, but it has to be still called Shootin the Swift. And you were like, I love the idea of still calling it Shootin the Swift.
Oh.
And we could just do a Taylor update every episode or something.
Okay.
But,
I know, I remember that. Yeah, I remember
okay.
that.
But yeah, it's about James Cameron or something.
Right. Oh, golly. We can't do it weekly, though. Like, this takes up so much of my time.
I know.
Part of why it takes up time is because I have to do all this research and shit.
Yeah. If it was just watching a movie and then talking about it.
Right. Okay, but we're getting into way too many things. We're just bickering right now.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is because I'm hungry and my blood sugar is dropping. So let's just plan on doing like a smaller. We're not going to go in super deep, but we'll definitely discuss. Why don't we just? Whatever.
I can't do it, Mike. I can't be like, I think this song might be pretty good.
Well, right, but we'll don't have to go in.
How it goes.
Okay. That's yeah. All right. We'll just do an episode. We'll stop at 1 hour. So wherever we get 1 hour into the recording, that is where the.
Why all these rules? Why?
That's one rule. That's the only.
Why? But why? What is
Why
the rationale for that rule?
What's what?
What is the reason for that rule?
Because then you won't go. Part of the thing too is I don't want to get this album. Like, this is.
You don't want me to ruin this album for you?
Partially. I don't think you'll ruin it for me, but I don't want to get this album and still be like just getting into the album, and then I have to like listen to you talk about how terrible it is for 3 hours.
But what if it's great, Mike?
You're not gonna. Everything she has done is great, but you don't necessarily like everything she's done.
No, but Mike, you know that I'll be honest. You know that if I think like this album fucking rules, that I'll say it.
Right, and you liked Fearless a lot.
Yeah.
But you still had a lot of negative things to say, and I think still even if it's a song you like, just because the nature of talking about something, you have to find something you don't like about it.
How do you avoid that? Because you sure don't. That's why this would be a 5-minute podcast if it was just you and somebody else who liked Taylor Swift.
Right. But do you understand, though, what I'm saying? I don't want to get
understand, from your personal enjoyment perspective, why you don't want to do it.
But also think in terms of my life. Like, this is the best thing that's going to happen to me this year. Like,
I don't want to ruin it for you.
Right. This is the only thing this year that I'm going to be like, this is it. Like, this is what 2014 is riding on.
I wish seeing me would have something to do, would be part of that.
What's that?
Coming to visit me a couple times is pretty good.
I mean, it's fun, but you know how I am.
Yes. You hate all things.
I don't hate all things.
Swift.
It's just that certain things I like a lot more than I like other things. So
Taylor Swift more than me.
I don't like Taylor Swift more than you. Oh, kid, now. See, now we're getting. Where you understand what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying. Let's cap the episode at 1 hour. That way you can get all of your hate out.
I just don't think that solves the particular problem
that we're
having.
I understand. It solves my problem.
Because that gives me plenty of time to shit all over it.
Right, but I don't have to sit there for 3 hours. Like, listening to being like, track 3? Oh, man, how could she's so spoiled and such a diva. How could anybody say this word? And it's like, I don't know, kid. She's a nice lady. She's a nice lady.
Is that really how you feel, though?
I mean, you understand that I would want to avoid that situation if the album turns out to be something that you really react violently to.
Okay.
Because it's going to be different.
But, Mike, what if do you think it's possible that you will be like, oh, I don't really like this. I mean, I still am happy it's her. Like, to the idea that, like, oh, my best friend made an album that I don't love, but I like listening to my best friend. So I listen to it.
See, that's okay. And
I go to my best friend's shows even though I don't like their band.
Right. I wasn't as obsessed with her when Red came out, and I didn't love Red at first. Like, I liked it, and I was, but you know what I'm saying. But it grew on me, and then like I found all sorts of new stuff to love about it. But that's part of the thing too. Is if I get it and I'm lukewarm on it because if it is really like radically different in some way and it's just not clicking with me, I don't want to like. I'm gonna have nothing to say when you're like talking about how terrible it is.
But I do think that could be interesting. If we both just give our genuine reactions to listening to it,
right,
and then a week later listening to it again, talk about, well, now I'm actually feeling like this, and to see, like, because I have a feeling that my opinion wouldn't change very much,
Right.
and your opinion you'll have taught yourself to like it more by that point.
Right.
That could be interesting.
Okay, let's do that. And I think part of the biggest problem is I'm capping us at 13 episodes, but we're not doing that anyway. So
Yeah.
So we will say.
But the 13th episode will still be the very special 1989 release episode.
Right. So that's cool. And we're going to do it before Sydney and August get there.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to be my completely honest first impressions of the album, or after, 3 days with it, or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
So we'll do that. And then later, maybe even if it's just like months later, we're going to revisit 1989 kind of more in depth. So
Okay.
I will agree to that. Let's do that.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Cool.
Wow, hashed it
all right.
out.
We hashed it out. That was good. We did. That was good compliment.
This was literally 4 hours.
Yeah. Well, all of that's probably we can cut. I think that would be excruciating to listen to. So if you'd like to email us, for all the listeners who've stuck with us for all these hours, email us at Shootin the Swift, Shootin, no G, the Swift, all one word, @gmail.com. Kit, thank you for a wonderful episode.
Thank you, Mike.
Sorry
My
for
throat
those.
is completely shot now.
What shot?
My throat.
Oh, yeah. Kit was sick for this whole episode. That was the shocking